This is Jack Sickma. NBA on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet and Chevrolet dealers coast to coast. Light beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Owens Corning Fiberglass Corporation, makers of fine fiberglass products for consumers and industry. Welcome to the Kingdome in Seattle, the home of the Seattle SuperSonics, who play host to the Houston Rockets, the fourth meeting of the year between these two clubs, and Houston has won 2 of the previous 3. Earlier today, the Lakers lost to Denver, and so the Sonics can pull within a game of them in the Pacific Division. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, and alongside me, the coach of the Sonics, Lenny Wilkins. Lenny, a chance to make up ground, but you've been in a slump. You've lost 4 of your last 5.
Well, we have, Gary. We really hadn't been playing well. You know, our execution was off, and then it affected our defense, and we're a good defensive team. But I've been pleased with the way we played the last 2 games, even though we lost to Cleveland by 2. I kind of think that we're out of the slump now. Now it's just getting some consistency offensively and defensively.
Okay, Coach, thank you. Now let's go to Steve Jones. He with Houston Rockets coach Tom Nasoki.
Thank you, Gary. Tom, last week you lost 2 important games within the division. You lost to San Antonio. You lost to Atlanta. You got home, got a little bit of home cooking. Now you got a win streak going. Can you keep it going?
I think we'll play pretty good today, Steve. The biggest problem last weekend against those teams, we just didn't do a good job converting from offense to defense. And the last 2 games, we've improved that a great deal. If we get that done today, we can win it.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. Have a good game.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Starting lineups now. As you see, Mike Newland will be starting at one of the guard spots. Tom Nasoki's been kind of shuffling that backcourt around. Murphy, Malone, Barry, and Tom Janovich. On the other hand, for the SuperSonics, Lonnie Shelton is back in the starting lineup. He was taken out there for the past 2 games in favor of Paul Silas. It'll be Johnson, Sickma, along with Johnson and Williams, as Lenny Wilkins' crew with a golden opportunity here today to move within 1 game of the Los Angeles Lakers, who lost to Denver earlier today, 113-99. The officials, Ed Rush, who's been gone for a while because of some back problems. He'll be joined there by Hugh Evans and also John Borgia. At center circle, Moses Malone, who has an excellent chance to be the MVP in the NBA before this year is over. He'll go against Jack Sickma. And the last time these two met, on February 10th, Sickma outscored Malone 21-19. They should have quite a meeting here today. Excellent crowd on hand. We're underway. John Johnson, who's been playing a lot of minutes the last few games. Gus Williams, the leading scorer on this team. Bringing it down is Dennis Johnson, and Johnson, who's been in a shooting slump, can't get it to go. Rebound, Mike Newland. Mike Newland, gonna hurry it up. Down to Rick Barry, broken up. Sickma tries to save it. That's not indicative of Houston. They don't try to run the ball like that. Move it that quickly. There's John Johnson reaching in on Rick Barry. Johnson, as we mentioned, has been seeing a lot of time, Steve Jones. In fact, in the last 3 games, he's played at least 40 minutes.
Well, you know, Johnny's always happy to play a lot of minutes, and he's playing a lot better, so consequently getting more time. And certainly with Ronnie Walker down, that makes a big difference for them.
Tom Janovich has been shooting well. Can't get that one to go. We're still looking for the first points of the game. Here's Johnson on the drive. He's only shooting 33%. He's missed his first 2 here today.
Well, he's taking a lot of tough tries. That time he went in traffic, and he just put the wrong type of English on the ball and didn't get it. He looked for the official to bail him out.
Here's Calvin Murphy. That is his favorite spot on the floor, right there.
Any place Murph can shoot is his favorite spot.
I got you. 2-0 now. Houston on top. They've won 2 of the previous 3 meetings thus far. And this Seattle team has lost 10 of their last 14, 4 of their last 5, and they'd like to get back to their winning ways. Lonnie Shelton, and he's fouled by Rick Barry. Lonnie Shelton was taken out of the starting lineup because he was in a scoring slump.
Well, Lonnie Shelton had been struggling. He had been playing very well, and all of a sudden got a little injury up and down. You see he gets an excellent feed right in here. They need more of these shots. This the kind of effort will get you out of a hole. He gets inside, and Barry nudges him on the way by.
Lonnie Shelton averaging over 13 points a game. He's a 70% foul shooter. Big guy weighing in at 245. Last 4 games, he's failed to get into double figures in scoring. He was ejected from Wednesday night's game against Philadelphia.
Well, one of Lonnie's big problems is control and staying under control. He's a player that seems to be on the verge of an explosion all the time. He plays very hard. He picks up a lot of fouls because of it.
2-1. Houston on top. John Johnson picked up by Rick Barry. Barry playing with a sore knee. Johnson.
Vintage JJ right there. He's been able to score. He hasn't looked at the hoop since he came to Seattle, but he can put the ball in. We may see some offense come from him.
Well, he's averaging 10.5 points a game, and a reaching in foul on Dennis Johnson. Johnson kind of protesting that one. Johnson, just an outstanding defensive player. He has 85 blocked shots. That's something for a guard.
Well, he's a fine all-around player, one of the best. I rate he and Lionel Hollins is probably the 2 best young all-around guards in the league, can do a lot of things. He is struggling.
And there's Calvin Murphy. He's hacked by Gus Williams. Calvin Murphy, they list him at 5'10", but in all truth, is he that tall?
Murphy, well, Murphy's been playing for, this is his 9th year. He may be 5'6" now. He's taking a lot of shots like that one right there, but he's a tough, gritty little guy. He's going to go and put the ball up as much as he possibly can. He'll take his lumps and just come back and go to the free throw line where he's putting up 92%.
You know, this guy wears 7 pairs of socks.
That's to try and get taller.
That's right. Here's Murphy, hits 2, and it's now 4-3. Houston on top. Dennis Johnson will set it up. Boy, he's playing well, except he can't get the ball to go down for him. John Johnson off to Sikma. Sikma, 22 points, 22 rebounds Friday night against Cleveland. See the double team on the baseline. Johnson's in trouble, but he's been fouled. Rick Barry in his second.
Well, I played with the guy Marvin Barnes, and when he got in this situation, he always said, well, Coach, I knew I was being double teamed, but all I could see was the basket. That time, Johnny Johnson tried to get it up. Barry comes across the arm. He's a lucky recipient.
John Johnson able to get that one to drop. Johnson, you know, came from the Houston Rockets last year in exchange for 2 second-round draft picks. That was a fine acquisition by the Sonics.
He came by way of Boston. He never really got his bags unpacked there and just kept on coming to the Northwest.
Here's Newland down the middle. My golly, what a fine move by Newland. He's averaging almost 9 points a game. Good play.
Well, Mike Newland's a real good offensive guard. He comes down and they just waves. They let him go by right there. He gets in clean, and he's the type of player, once he gets started, can be very explosive.
This is his 4th straight start now at that guard spot. He was out early in the year as he fractured a bone in his right hand. He was hurt last year after really going through his entire career without having injuries.
He broke a bone in his hand last year, and that's really what started all of his injuries, and he's been up and down ever since then, and now he's coming back with some consistency. He's a real tough physical player, and he's banging on Dennis Johnson.
There's Sikma. That's what he likes, that turnaround jumper right in your face.
Well, you know, he gets that ball behind his head right there, and you just have to be aware that every time he turns around, he's a threat to put it up.
Here's Rick Barry. Barry scoring down this year. A little underhand shove. That's the way he shoots from the free throw line.
Well, Rick Barry against Denver went to the basket more in that time, and he went more times in than he'd been in maybe the last 5 years.
Dennis Johnson continues to not get that ball to drop. Here's good teamwork. John Johnson on the end of that. Very good ball movement, and John Johnson has 6 of the points that have been scored by Seattle thus far.
Well, I always talk about contact for the visiting team. What they don't want the Seattle SuperSonics to do is get a big burst coming across and get a lead like they may have a chance on this break right here.
All right, 3 on 2, and they're down again, and Johnson has 8 points. John Johnson having a heyday here in the early going.
Well, you can get it. You can get that heyday going when you get layups. He's had 3 of them. Pretty good shots for him.
You know, both these teams are not known for their running, but right now, Seattle's been able to keep this tempo going, get the ball down there effectively.
A curious thing about the Houston Rockets is a big fella, Malone, who's working on being the MVP, has just now touched the ball for the first time.
That's right. He's 7th in the NBA in scoring, and we have a loose ball foul. Jack Sikma banging the boards very hard, and Tom Janovich walks away with his first personal foul.
Well, Lenny Wilkins very concerned about the board work. He felt that that's what let the game get away from them when they had a 14-point lead against the Cavaliers.
There's Sikma. Malone playing against him. Sikma's got an inch on him, 6'11" to 6'10". Williams, the leading scorer, and Tom Janovich comes away with it. We saw Williams a week ago get 33 points against Kansas City.
Well, Gus Williams not really known for a good perimeter shooter, but he fires the ball well under control down in the corners.
You saw that. That turned out being a shot. Johnson with double figures now, 10 points. They're going to have to pour a bucket of water on him.
Well, Well, certainly Tom Misaki is going to call a timeout and say someone's got to guard that guy. He's got 10. He may go for 50 here in the first period. So certainly they're going to have a timeout, and they're going to get somebody to guard Johnny Johnson, see if that can make a difference to get them back in the basketball game.
The Miller people promised me a case of light beer if I could keep this ball spinning for the length of this commercial. Now, I'm not one to show off, but I do just about anything for a few light beers. You see, light's got a third less calories than the regular beer and it's less filling, so I can stay loose. But the thing I like best is the taste. And I believe at this time that somebody here owes me a case of that taste. Thanks a lot, boys. See you around.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hi, Charlie.
This is it, America, the new Chevrolet.
America, if you're looking for a truly beautiful full-size car with more rear seat legroom,
This is it.
more headroom,
This is it.
and more trunk room.
This is it.
New Chevrolet, bought and embraced by more than 1 million people in its first 2 years. 79 Caprice and Impala, the new generation car America has driven to the top.
This is it, America, the new Chevrolet.
Owens Corning built this glass house so you can see all the places insulation can save money, new home or old. Your attic. In severe climates, you may need insulating power up to R38, a foot of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Another place to insulate. Floors over unheated garages or crawl spaces, and walls exposed to cold or heat. Put your house in the pink. Get Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now. It's cheaper than oil.
Next Sunday on CBS Sports Challenge of the Sexes, the competition is on the ice, on the court, and in the fast lane. See it all next Sunday. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Well, John Johnson has 10 of the Sonics' 13 points.
He's played excellent offensive basketball. This is the thing the Rockets did not want to do, see John Johnson get off the mark. He'll be looking at the hoop the rest of the afternoon.
A little pressure in the backcourt, and Calvin Murphy will bring it up. Houston just hasn't gotten into their pattern offense at all.
Well, Houston did the same thing against Denver. Denver reeled off the first 10 points of the game in a minute. Then they called a timeout. All of a sudden, they started to come inside to Malone, change the complexion of the game completely.
There's Murphy in a lot of tall traffic. Comes away with a good second effort. Calvin Murphy, that's the reason he's been able to play in this league, his quickness.
His quickness, he's just a tenacious little guy. Johnson looking at the hoop, he didn't get it, so Houston has a chance to set up.
Well, he can miss a shot. I think people are beginning to wonder there for a while. 13-8, Barry. Rick Barry, tough shot to hit. Rebound, here comes Dennis Johnson. Out to John. JJ and DJ hooking up on that one. Good opportunity pass to Shelton.
Well, Johnny Johnson doing it all. And again, example of what kind of a player he is when he's really involved in the offense. He hit Shelton down in deep, and Seattle has done an excellent job of keeping all of their balls down in that green area and getting a high percentage shot.
15-8. Seattle with the lead. 7 minutes to go. First period. Calvin Murphy trying to go back door to Barry, and John Johnson playing both ends of the floor. Here comes Calvin back. Barry, he likes this shot. Wide open. Can't get it to go. Barry averaging coming into this game just over 14 points a game, 47% for the field. Dennis Johnson. Calvin Murphy now will bring it down. Both these teams a little ragged right now. Moses Malone, who's averaging 24 points a game.
Well, Murphy recognizing that they need the big fellow to go to work on the boards, gave him a little offense, pump him up a little bit, and certainly anytime a big guy can get the ball on the break, he'll run the next time. He may not see it for a week, however.
Houston has won 3 of their last 5. This is the second game of a 4-game road trip for the Rockets. The trail by 3.5 to San Antonio in the Central Division. Reaching in foul that time, picking up the foul, Malone. Moses Malone doesn't really get into that much foul trouble, does he?
Well, Moses Malone matured quite a bit, and you'll see that he gets caught right here. He lets Sikma get down and deep. Sikma does a good job. Now Malone gets his hands on him down and deep, and the hand checking rule catches him. Sikma gets to hoop.
Right as Sikma comes back to register the points. He now has 4, 17-10, 7-point lead for Seattle. Mike Newland, 6'5", out of the University of Utah, a real hustler, very tough physical player. Calvin Murphy, open. You can't let him shoot there.
Well, Murphy has an amazing knack to get open. He uses his quickness, and nobody guards him. He comes around with those wide open jumpers. He'll bury them all night long. He's got a high of 57, so you know he can score a ton.
The big problems this year for Tom Nasalki's been trying to find a running mate for Calvin Murphy in that backcourt. There's Dennis Johnson finally getting one to go.
Well, they have all a similar type of guards. They're all scorers. Newland, Murphy, Dunleavy, they all can put the ball to the basket, and they have no one to really give them direction.
Into Moses, they're collapsing on him. You can see he's drawing a crowd, isn't he? Good move by the big guy. Followed by Tom Janovich. And that's going to be Seattle's basketball. Now, both these teams have tried to go the length of the floor with passes, uncharacteristic of them.
Well, Malone hustling to get this ball. Now he'll split these two guys right here with this quickness. He pops in. He makes a real tough try. He thought he got fouled. Tom Janovich, not shying away from the contact, comes right in and gets the follow.
And while we had that replay, the ball was knocked out of bounds by Houston. Seattle will reset it at the 5:07 mark. 19-14, the Sonics with the lead. Lonnie Shelton. Nice pass to Johnson, and he saw little Murphy reach in.
Well, the little fly swatters all over the place. He's just in there, get his hands in there, and Johnson does an excellent job to get down and deep. Now watch the cut. Nobody guards him. Murphy does the good thing by coming off to give help. Johnson just carries his arms to the hoop. He gets the front end of that free throw in the penalty situation.
Murphy picking up his first foul, and Johnson just continues to pour him in. He has 12 points now. 21-14, but again, Johnson moving off the ball that time, got open on the baseline.
Well, that's what happens when a player gets offensively involved. All of a sudden, he becomes more active. He's all over the court. Another turnover.
Right now, Houston having a tough time. They have already 4 turnovers in this game. Shelton, and again, as you said, Steve, they're getting a good percentage shot.
All down in that green area. They wish the dollar was that active right there.
23-14. Right now, Seattle really getting things going for them. Houston's been a pretty good road team. They're 12-19 for the year. Newland in trouble. Johnson to Williams. Berry's back. Look at the quickness of Williams. And a foul on Rick Berry, and he has 3.
Well, Rick has 3 fouls, and he never fouled in any of the situations as far as he's concerned. Certainly, he's at that 6-minute mark, and I talked to Tom Nasalki before. He said he was going to take a break when we see Robert Reed come in.
Robert Reed, a second-year man out of St. Mary's College, a guy who's a swing man for him. He plays both a forward and a guard. He's 6'8", and here's Williams at the line. This guy has been something. The last 23 games, he's averaged 21.9.
Tremendous foot speed and quickness, and that's really his hallmark. Anytime he can get out in a running spread floor situation, he's very dangerous. He carries that ball to the hoop. As we look at Robert Reed, he'll have a tough time if he's going to be in the back court guarding Gus Williams.
They like to have Reed back there with Murphy at 6'8". It gives him a lot of possibilities defensively.
Well, you know, he presents a problem for Gus Williams or Dennis Johnson at the other end because he has played a lot of forward. He's got a size advantage, jumps well, but they've got a little bit of quickness on him.
Here's Mike Newland outside. Again, they're not getting the ball to Tom Janovich or Malone that much. And a foul. That's Sigma. Sigma trying to hold Malone, who was cutting to the baseline. And that's his first personal foul.
Well, both of those players like to work down and deep, and they try to flash in as quickly as they can. And Malone is probably one of the quickest centers in the league, and you really have to be aware of him off the ball.
Well, that Sigma's a tough guy. You don't hear a lot about him. They call him the banger. He likes to be physical. He's after Tom Janovich. Oh, Malone, what a play.
Just another day's work for Mo. He's inside. You know, anytime he gets in that green area, you got to be aware of him. Tom Janovich puts the ball up from deep. Malone, no box, right over the top.
Boy, he is something. What timing by that guy. Here's John Johnson trying to drive in, and he walked with the ball. Looked like he stumbled over somebody as he tried to make that cut.
Well, they never really got by Robert Reed, and he was off balance. He figured, oh, I'm going pretty good. They'll just bail me out. I'll throw it to the hoop. He didn't get it.
25-16, Tom Janovich, who had 33 points the last time out for Houston. Here's Reed, picked up by John Johnson.
Murphy's running around. Please let me have it. Oh!
Can't get it to go. John Johnson having a superb first period. Here he comes to Shelton, and he's had about 3 of them right in that same spot. Lonnie Shelton with 7 points. And right now, Seattle is just doing about everything right.
Well, they're limiting the Houston Rockets to 1 perimeter shot. When they miss, they're doing an excellent job of getting out and down on the break, and they've got that lead, which makes them so very tough at home. 35.
And there is number 35 years old.
35.
Silas.
We really don't know if he's 35. He's something like Ken Norton. His age is very elusive.
He's at least 35.
At least.
He started the last couple of games, but they brought this guy back in to start today, Shelton. So Silas comes in along with Shelton in that forward combination now for Lenny Wilkins' crew.
Well, that actually gives the Houston Rockets a break because Johnny Johnson was wearing them out. They got Silas in, who's not near the score.
Moses Malone, you can see how they back up to help. Gus Williams, looks like Malone stepped on the end line, and that's going to give it back to the Sonics. They really collapsed back on him, don't they?
Well, we'll see right here. Malone has the ball. He's working now. They double up on him. The good thing to do is to give the ball out. The ball bounces off his foot and out of bounds, and Seattle has it.
3 minutes to go, first period. Gus Williams, rebound Malone, and Malone, who had 37 rebounds in one game. He's already set an NBA record, broke his old record for offensive rebounds in a season. Tom Janovich. Rudy T can't get it. Dennis Johnson almost lost it. 27-16. Now they're going to slow it down. Paul Silas, the tempo of this game's been pretty fast for two teams that are not known to be running ball clubs.
Well, the Sonics more of a running team than the Houston Rockets. They try to get out and take advantage of whatever the team will get them, and if they can't get that, they will slow down and set up. The Rockets normally like to come down and run the ball in the pattern situation, put the ball up from the inside, and let Malone go to work on the board.
Dennis Johnson now with 4 points, 29-16, into Malone. You can see Williams collapse back, and that leaves Murphy open.
That's great basketball right there by the Houston Rockets. Inside, flatten the defense out, get it right back, and get a quick hoop from a good shooter like Murphy.
Silas kicks it off to Williams. Here's Sickman. 3 seconds in the lane called against Seattle, and that's going to turn it over, and we have timeout with 2:04 to go in this first period of play. Seattle SuperSonics trying to get it back together after losing 4 of their last 5. They lead it.
To drive through dirt and dust, good filters are a must. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
Sure glad I installed new AC air and oil filters before we get into this mess.
I bet AC helps protect those babies too, huh, Dad?
If they're smart.
George! Oh! So when you gotta go, we're the name to know. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
Do you know me? I won the Triple Crown, but people still think of me as a kid. So I got the American Express card. I travel a lot, and it beats most cards at keeping track of business expenses, because the signed receipts usually come back with a bill. Besides, with the card, people look up to me, and not just when I'm up here.
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Oh, the things people do to decide between 2 TV shows they want to watch. Well, now you don't have to decide anymore, because with Sony's Betamax video recorder, you can actually watch a show on one channel while you're videotaping a show on another channel. That way you get to see both of them, so you don't have to worry about dreaming up new ways of deciding.
Okay, first one to the TV set chooses.
Well, the new look, CBS Sports Spectacular. We have the fight of the week from Rahway State Prison. James Scott against Richie Cates, and then I'll have the opportunity to bring you the Southeastern Classic in Greenville, South Carolina. Yesterday they had the first stop. Did you see that, Pam Buckner? 9 straight strikes.
You jinxed her. You put her in there for that 6 in a row, and she couldn't get one down.
Now, wait a minute. Inside, 2 minutes to go, first period. With Steve Jones, I'm Gary Bender. The Sonics playing very well in the early going of this game. Here's Reed on the move. See Sigma up there. Silas trying to follow, and it's going to be Houston's basketball. Silas kind of discussing that one now with Hugh Evans. There's Reed. He's from the same school that produced James the Snake Silas, who plays for the San Antonio Spurs. Here's Murphy, inside to Malone again. You can see Brown trying to collapse back in. Fred Brown is checked in. Malone gets it anyway.
Malone very tough right in that green area too, and when he gets the ball down there with this quickness, they're giving a lot of help to Sigma. He just turned around and faced up and got it down.
Fred Brown now with Murphy on him. That's a tough chore for Calvin Murphy to stay with Fred Brown. Sigma turnaround jumper.
But don't forget my jump shot, Mr. Malone.
Boy, he just loves that. Doesn't need to turn around and face you. 11-point lead again now for Seattle. 1:14 in this first period. Here's Reed. Murphy. Tom Janovich. They're going inside to the big guy now. They're going to clear it out. And Malone gets it down, and he's been fouled. Sigma picking up the foul.
Well, they got his motor started now. They're getting the ball down in deep. Again, changing the tempo of the game, coming down, setting up, and getting the ball in deep. You see Malone can get that hoop, and he's on the free throw line.
Good to make one, the penalty in. Moses Malone. And here's Dennis Autry, number 21 now. He's the type of guy that can move Malone out of there a little bit.
Well, that's what they brought him in there, a prime people mover. I mean, Dennis Autry, if he's not pushing bodies around, he'll be sitting down.
31-23. Paul Silas. There's Dennis Johnson. Good movement that time. Johnson working off the ball.
Sonics had excellent fast break opportunities. They've cashed in on most of them. They just made the transition a little bit better than the Rockets.
Mike Dunleavy is checked in now along with Calvin Murphy. Here's Murphy. That's a tough shot. Silas. Fred Brown 2-on-2 this time. Brown's going to hold up. Silas. How's that for a pass?
Well, that was a great pass from Silas, and I guess Shelton wanted to work on his offensive rebound, and he gets fouled, and he has another chance for the three-point play.
Robert Reed picking up the foul, his first.
But you got to have friends, and Robert Reed doesn't have any. There's four, and Sonics back as Dunleavy and Reed try to battle in there. Shelton just takes that big hulk of a body up and backs his way in and gets to the free throw line, gets it down.
Mike Newland is checked back in. Tom Janovich catches a breather. Shelton at the line with 9 points. So he's in double figures now after not being able to get into that in the last 4 games.
Already made the choice for the MVP top.
36-23. Dunleavy. Here's a guy they picked up from the Philadelphia 76ers. He's been a fine asset. Newland, tough shot. Tries to follow. Here's Silas. Dennis Johnson, 2-on-2. Fred Brown. Oh, what a move that was. Coming down with it now is Dwight Jones. Jones off to Dunleavy.
You notice again there are 4 white shirts back for almost every 2, and Dunleavy gets that jump shot at the end.
And it will count as he got it to go just as time runs out here in the first period. Let's look at it. What's the time? As Dunleavy makes it a 36-25 game in favor of Seattle.
This baby's been from Maine to Malibu, but I don't let her go nowhere without the treatment.
This is no car, this is a legend. And you better believe I give her the treatment.
STP oil treatment. Since 1964, over 500 million cans have been sold. No other brand even comes close. So do what millions do. Give your car the treatment from STP.
This sweetheart gets a treat, and this sweetheart gets the treatment.
Every day you lose a little piece of yourself. More hair on the brush and less on you. These are Protein 29 conditioning hair grooms and sprays. They can't do anything about the hair you're losing, but Protein 29 can do something about the hair you still have. Protein 29 actually adds protein to individual hair shafts, helps make your hair look thicker, fuller, healthier, more like it used to look. The more hair you're losing, the more you need Protein 29. It takes care of the hair that's still there.
When our fans say thank you, it makes me feel terrific. And I'd like to tell you how you can feel terrific. Many of you give to United Ways every year, but I bet some of you don't really know where your dollars go. I do. As a volunteer, I've seen your contributions at work. You can too. Visit your local United Way agencies. Believe me, you'll feel great when people say, thanks to you, it works. For all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. Looking ahead, next Sunday, the National Game of the Week. The Washington Bullets with the best record in basketball against Denver, who upset the Lakers today. And then the West Coast Game of the Week, Portland against those surprising Kansas City Kings. Next Sunday, 1:45, the NBA on CBS. Dunleavy, Newland will be the guards. Reed along with Dwight Jones and Moses Malone in the lineup now for the Houston Rockets. 36-25 as Seattle off the mark, led by John Johnson and Lonnie Shelton in that first period of play. Malone looking for some helps. 5 seconds on the shot clock. 4 seconds on it. 3. And with 1 second, he gets it off. Here is Autry. Kicks it out to Lonnie Shelton. Shelton having a little trouble with it. Paul Silas saves it. This crowd here, boy, what a crowd, as they are leading the attendance. They being the Seattle SuperSonics in the NBA this year.
They've done an excellent job of getting folks in here. Their big problem is being able to win in those crowds of 20,000 or better. Dennis Johnson brings that one from downtown. That pleases them, but every time they have a large crowd, they seem to lose the big game.
Boy, I tell you, they've really done a job. They've had 11, 20,000 or better crowds. They've broken all previous attendance records. We got a foul coming up on Dennis Autry. Look at the shooting percentages in the early going, Seattle, and that's the reason they've been leading. They're getting the ball inside.
Yeah, it's reflected right there. They've been wearing that green area out.
38-25. Newland trying to get inside. Here's Dwight Jones, who can play center or guard at 6'10". Nice move. He's fouled. Lonnie Shelton, I believe, reaching in on that one. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's Dennis Johnson who picked it up. I don't think Johnson likes that at all.
Well, Dwight Jones has been somewhat of a mystery man down in Houston. He has great ability, but it only shows maybe once every 3 weeks or so. And there he makes an example of what he can do when he really makes his mind up to play. He came across with a fine offensive move. He's on the line.
Dwight Jones, he was the #1 draft pick of Atlanta in '73, averaging under 6 points a game. He says he's improved a lot because he's practiced a lot against Moses Malone.
Well, whenever you work against better players and practice, and Malone is a tremendous practice player, just like he is in a game, that's going to make you a better player.
It's going to be Seattle's basketball.
Or that's going to get you out of the league. You take your choice.
Dennis Johnson will trigger it in for the Sonics. The Sonics with a chance to move within a game of Los Angeles, who was upset by Denver after leading Denver by 10 points at halftime. Silas, Fred Brown, 8 seconds on the shot clock, and he drives into Moses Malone, and Malone is the guilty party. That's his second foul.
Oh, Malone can't believe it. He gives that look like, man, he ran over me. I was hit by a Mack truck. What can I say?
Tell you, not too many people are going to run over Moses, and you're 6'10", 235. He's gained about, what, 20 pounds this year?
He's gained a lot of strength in the upper body, and he's just tremendous inside. And, of course, that adds to his tenacity inside. And there's a guy who once was a premier offensive rebounder. As you can see, that Denver-Los Angeles score, and a big surprise as Los Angeles had the lead in a close ball game.
Well, here's our score here of 40-27 is against the Sonics, able to get the percentage shot open on the baseline. Malone driving, and he's been fouled. Malone trying to put the ball down. Now, that was something he used to do too much of. And there's some others. Milwaukee defeating Boston 135-122.
Lots of balls in the air. You see Kansas City nipped by Golden State. That's their second overtime loss for Kansas City, and they've lost 4 in a row.
The Kings now trying to hold on to that advantage against Denver, who won today. There's Reed outside to Dunleavy. Dunleavy able to get it to go. You know, Dunleavy's coming off of quite a performance. He had 21 points Wednesday against Denver.
Bombed 7 in a row from right about in that perimeter out there. He was a thorn in the side. Again, you don't want those type of players who are pretty good athletes to get off the mark, because now they go all day long. Lonnie Shelton's been in a slump. He bears another one.
He has 12 points, and he is often moving here today. Both he and Johnson have 12 points each. 42-29. Autry with a little acting, and it didn't get him anything. How many times do you think Autry would be knocked down like that, as big and strong as he is?
Well, you know, all of those big guys went to some acting school down there in Hollywood, because they'll take a dive in a minute. And Harpo there is a prime example. He's not much of an offensive player. He does move people around his ground.
Fred Brown, boy, he is something.
Brown told me
eating up.
That jumper had been down in the Bermuda Triangle someplace. He's looking for it to come back with a little bit more playing time.
44-31. Jones with Silas on him. 9 minutes to go before halftime. Newland and Dwight Jones follows nicely. Jones able to follow. He now has 4 points.
The thing that they don't want the Rockets to really get involved in is on that offensive board. Sonics broke down against the Cavaliers after having a 14-point lead.
There's Shelton. I believe he's out of bounds before he was able to save that one in. So we're going to have a timeout here at the Kingdom. Thus far, it's been the Seattle SuperSonics. Good shooting, moving the ball inside. They have the lead at the 8:46 mark.
Chevrolet invites you to think of yourself in a new Monte Carlo. Think of yourself surrounded by crisp, sculptured lines. Think of yourself enjoying the very real pleasures of owning a Monte Carlo. Think of yourself surrounded with personal luxury, quiet comfort, and a surprising amount of room. And when you've thought about it, come drive one and put a little distance between yourself and the crowd.
Chasing bad guys is not so glamorous outside of the movies. You find you spend a lot of time on stakeouts eating cold pizza, and you'd rather be someplace else having a cold beer. For me, that'd be one of these. Light beer from Miller, just in case I gotta move fast. See, Light's got a third less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling, and the taste is just great. Ain't that right, Muggsy?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
When choosing between the phone and a business letter, remember, the letter is loaded with hidden costs.
I see you.
There's dictating time, typing time, filing costs, materials, even mailing costs.
Sorting, sealing, stamping, and postage.
To reduce those costs, don't reach for a stamp, reach for the telephone. The phone's a better buy than the business letter.
Next Saturday on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular, the competition's in the ring with the fight of the week, and right down the alley with the women's PBA tour. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
You're looking at the top of the beautiful Kingdome in Seattle, the home of the Sonics, the Seahawks, the Mariners, and we have a good crowd on hand. The largest crowd they've had here in the NBA was over 25,000 when Denver showed up here. And here is Portland leading Cleveland 32-25. Portland still with an outside shot of getting into the playoffs.
Portland's big hope is to win all of those games at home and pray for a break somewhere on the road, and they may make it back, and they also may bring the redhead in at that time.
At halftime, we're going to visit with Lenny Wilkins about the playoffs. And here is Mike Newland. That's twice now. He split the middle and scored.
Well, Houston's offense has picked up a great deal here in the second half. They have run their offense a lot better. They're getting the ball inside, and they're not letting the Sonics get out on the break as they did in that first period.
Here's Fred Brown. He's 1 for 2 from that area, and I think we've got 3 seconds. That's twice now. The Sonics have been called on that.
Well, they have a different lineup in the game now. Hassett, Brown, Silas, John Johnson, and Dennis Autry, and that front line is not nearly as quick and mobile, so they're going to camp in deep much as they can.
Rudy Tomjanovich, he has only 2 points. He hasn't shot very much in this game. Johnson's the reason for that.
Quick.
Here's Newland. Hassett, who's now played in 8 straight games, seeing a lot of playing time now for Lenny Wilkins' team. Jones from the corner. Hassett. And again, they're not getting that ball inside.
Well, they try to get it down and deep to Malone. Everyone sags back on him to give Autry help. Johnny Johnson tries to shoot it inside, and he doesn't get it.
Don Levy now will hustle it up the floor. This guy was going to the SMU Law School and was playing and coaching in the American Basketball League when he was signed as a free agent. It's going to be Seattle's ball once again as Lenny Wilkins. Lenny has some kind of interesting insights on what he thinks about the playoffs. You know, we're about 18 games away from the conclusion of this regular season of play. His team, coming in today, trailed by 2, now have a chance to move within 1 of Los Angeles in the Pacific Division.
Well, certainly the thing that they would like to do is capture that first place spot so they can have that bye in the first week. No team really likes to get involved in the mini-series 2 out of 3. There's always a chance you can have one mistake, and that's one mistake you can't afford is you can lose that first game and be out of it. Sigma's back in the game along with Gus Williams.
Autry goes out, and there is Gus Williams. That last foul was on Paul Silas. That's his first personal. 44-35. So we have Dunleavy, Newland, Jones, along with Tomjanovich and Moses Malone in for Houston. Williams and Hassett are the guards. Silas, Sigma, and John Johnson for Lenny Wilkins' crew. There's Hassett reaching in on Jones, and he's going to lose it, and it's off Houston.
Well, he clawed and scratched Dwight Jones for that ball. Fouled him a couple times. Nobody called it. The ball rolls out of bounds, and the Sonics handle it coming up. Nasaki seemed to be very cool, but he's asking what about the hooks?
His assistant, Del Harris, alongside him. There's Sigma. Moses Malone on him. Little handoff job there to John Johnson. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Hassett. Rebound Malone. And boy, he's always around that basketball.
But notice the difference in the offense for the Sonics. They have come down and they've set up. The Rockets get that one on their set offense, but they have had to put the ball up from the perimeter a great deal more. Consequently, they haven't scored with the proficiencies that they did early, and so they've struggled, Gary.
44-37, 6.5 to go till halftime.
This family takes their Sunday drive on Suzuki street bikes. Mom rides the GS 425, Dad the new 850 Shaft, and Junior the Quick 1000. best thing about a family that rides together is they don't have to stay together.
Suzuki, the Performer Ride.
Excuse me, sir. I'd like you to try something.
Okay.
Hold out your hand.
Hey, what is that?
That's Track 2 shave cream, and that's another brand. Feel any difference?
The Track 2 feels heavier.
That's because the Track 2 is heavier. It's packed with moisturizers.
Moisturizers?
They help hold the moisture in your skin so your face feels good after you shave.
After I shave?
It'll feel soft and moisturized.
Great. Wait, what do I do now?
Shave?
Track 2, heavy with moisturizers.
Hurry, hurry! There's a gallery of values at the Sears National Hardware Week sale. Take aim for special savings on these items. These mechanics tool sets. This home and shop vac. This radial arm saw. These trash cans. These paints. This chainsaw and case. This rototiller. These chandeliers. These fixtures. This automatic garage door opener. Take home big savings. It's Sears National Hardware Week sale. Hurry, hurry!
Well, the best golf is right here on CBS. The next Saturday and Sunday, no exception. 4 o'clock Eastern Time. The Jackie Gleason Inverary Golf Classic. Hale Irwin, Jack Nicklaus, and Andy North will be on hand for that one. Back here now with 6.5 to go before halftime. And that was expected to be a pass, just didn't work. Out it comes now to Dunleavy. The Rockets now starting to make a move. Tom Janovich may be the guy to bring him back, and that's not going to do it. Off it comes to Gus Williams. Houston getting back quicker now on defense than they were earlier in the game.
And it's awfully cold in this building here, and they may have been a little slow to warm up. Mike Newland, a very physical player, takes a dive there, takes our man with the mic out. Calvin Murphy helps him up. Dunleavy takes a seat. He's been pretty effective in this period.
I tell you, that is characteristic of Newland, and that he'll go after everything. He's a real scrapper.
He doesn't seem to know what pain is. He might be along with that guy, the Incredible Hulk. He's a pretty tough guy.
6'5", and he'll weigh in at about 200 pounds. Here's Silas coming away with it. Nice pass, Johnson to Johnson. That's quite a combination. What an assist, Dennis Johnson.
That got you a little excited, huh? He brought that one inside. Excellent eyesight by Dennis Johnson out high. They whip it down in deep, and they get Dwight Jones on his back. And again, Johnny Johnson has a chance for another three-point play. He's hanging around that green area. And Lonnie Shelton comes in to give old 35 a break.
Dwight Jones picked up the foul. It's his first. So Lonnie Shelton, who's often moving in this game with 12 points, comes in. John Johnson, the leading scorer. He has a total of 15 points.
Well, it's important for Houston right now. They're coming back to maintain that offensive momentum. They're staying within that 10-point differential, which is not a great deal in the NBA, and anything can happen. They could pop and have the lead in a couple of plays.
They're showing a little more patience. Calvin Murphy gets it to drop. Calvin Murphy with a total of 12 points. Calvin averaging this year just under 20 points a game. He had his best season ever last year.
Well, last year he carried that offense for them. He just really took over after Malone went down, Newland went down. He had a great offensive series, but he just didn't have enough folks to really help him out, and the Rockets went down the drain the other way.
Sigma with that hook, which he's been working on. Don't forget at halftime now, Lenny Wilkins, the coach of the Sonics, talking about the playoffs. If they would start today, who would be in them? Here's Moses Malone, and Malone leaning in, and they're starting now to work the ball, get the better percentage shots.
Back at you. Those two centers have been in each other's faces all afternoon, and they're going to continue. Sigma trying to get down and deep right now.
John Johnson to Gus Williams. Tough shot.
Murphy suffers a little bit right then, and you know, we do have a good offensive game going. Both teams seem to have gotten their patterns down and getting the ball to the people where they can score and do something with it effectively.
Very efficient game right now. Earlier it was a little ragged at times. There's Tom Janovich. They collapse on him, but you saw Moses Malone come up with it. Malone with 15 points. Moses Malone.
A quiet 15 points.
Yeah, it is. You know what? He kind of sneaks up on you. 51-43. There's Calvin trying to draw the foul.
Well, he got a little help that time. He just got pushed out of the way. Gus Williams had all kinds of time to shoot that ball and didn't get it down, and the Rockets again have a chance to cut into that lead.
Here's Dwight Jones looking inside. Tom Janovich having a tough time shaking John Johnson. Johnson's a fine defensive player. Both of them are, both Johnsons. Here's Newland. John Johnson last week gave Scott Wedman fits, and there's Murphy hitting. Here comes Gus Williams, 51-45. All of a sudden now it's a 6-point game as we have 3:43 to go in this first half of play. Rhythmic applause here by this large crowd in the Kingdome, and there's John Johnson to Dennis as they repeat, except they just reversed it from a few moments ago.
Well, that makes Lenny Wilkins breathe a little bit easier as his team was struggling offensively. A fine play, whipping that ball inside like that. They get Dwight Jones again with the foul and a chance to get another 3-point play, and that could extend their lead and, of course, break that offensive momentum of the Rockets.
Earlier it was Dennis inside. This time it was John into Dennis, so they reciprocate on the assist. Dennis can't get it to go, and it's 53-45. Mike Newland seeing a lot of action here in the early going. Calvin Murphy. Tom Janovich just can't seem to get open. Now he's got the ball, but John Johnson's on him all the way. Good defense by J.J. Look at him. 7 seconds on the shot clock. They just won't let Rudy T shoot the ball. Jones loses it. Here comes Williams. 3-on-2. Shelton.
That brings them to their feet, and that's the kind of thing that really hurts your pride. But Mike Newland, again, when they've had the advantage, there have just been more Sonics down there than there have been Rockets, and there's nothing you can do with the big truck like Lonnie Shelton.
There's Tom Janovich again. He's shooting with somebody in his face. That somebody being John Johnson.
You just had better get out of the way. You see Newland comes right in. He's thinking about taking the charge, but he's supposed to be a pretty smart guy. You see he elects to take him on the sweet white ride.
All the guys that do commercials for light beer from Miller are big stars and guys like that. Me, I'm just a humble bartender, but I drink light too. And I'll tell you why. It's less filling, it's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer, and it tastes great.
Jerry, now that you're a big star, can I have your autograph?
Well, sure, Mr. Dangerfield.
Hey, would you like mine?
Not really.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
How about my initials?
Willis Reed, basketball great. You know what he does for excitement? He collects stamps.
U.S. commemoratives are a great way to start collecting, and they're really interesting. Stamp collecting is number 1 on my list, after basketball, that is.
Collect U.S. commemoratives. They're fun, they're history, they're America.
You'll be building a collection your family will treasure for years.
Start your collection with the Albert Einstein stamp at your post office March 5th.
It's the Chevette Victory March. With thousands of extra Chevy Chevettes during the month of March, because Chevrolet's added another plant to build America's best-selling hatchback, Chevy Chevette. Chevette will save at the gas pumps with the best EPA gas mileage rating of any American car. Chevette will save with sticker prices hundreds of dollars less than the leading foreign imports. So buy now during the Chevy Chevette Victory March with thousands of extra Chevy Chevettes during the month of March.
Oh, you come back and talk about it, and I'll say something about Tom Janovich.
Well, I think one of the interesting stories early going to this game has been the fact that Tom Janovich has only 4 points. There's a guy that's having quite a day, Lonnie Shelton, but the reason is John Johnson.
Both of them, as we see them both come back out on our screen, Johnny Johnson doing an excellent job of denying Rudy Tomjanovich that shooting position that he wants. What Tomjanovich will need is the biggest Houston Rocket to come by and set a nice pick and spring him and get a few shots that way.
That big guy could be Moses Malone, who, by the way, has hit 6 field goals in a row. Malone has hit his last 6 shots. Well, they're not drawing the fouls on those plays, are they?
Nasaki comes up in front of Ed Rush and says, please give me a break.
Reed away with the rebound. A chance now to move within 8, the Houston Rockets. 2.5 to go till halftime. Lenny Wilkins, our halftime guest. And it goes to Moses, who's looking for 7 in a row if he could just get a crack at the basket. Boy, they are really hounding him in there. Here's Calvin Murphy. Dennis Johnson. Nice play by Murphy.
Murphy can lob that ball up. It seems like it comes from nowhere down underneath his knees down there. He gets another hoop. He's shooting excellent, too.
There's John Johnson, who got him moving now, and he's picking up where he left off. 17 points. It's back to 10. Dennis Johnson hits the deck.
Well, Dennis Johnson just fell down. It seemed like his knee gave way. Mike Newland came back and made him pay the price. He's right in front of us. He's a little gimpy.
He sure is. I don't know. They're not going to have the injury timeout. They'll continue. 57-49. Gus Williams slows it down a bit. Inside, 2 minutes to go in this first half. There's Dennis Johnson. His knee's all right. He's got a 3-point play.
Well, he lost somebody to sleep because Mike Newland was nowhere around until it came time to take that foul. Newland always takes a good shot. You'll see he comes in your picture right here, clean as can be. Now Newland is behind him. He's going to make him pay the price as he comes across the arm.
I think he might have been just luring somebody into the fact that he's ready to go, I think. He's now got it back to 11-point lead. Johnson with a total of 13 points. Look at him. He's moving all right. Here's Newland trying to get around him. Calvin Murphy, Gus Williams on him, into Moses. Sigma, boy, what a move.
Oh, that's an awful sweet move down in there. He just put that ball right in between him and the glass, the only place he could put it, and Williams comes right back on the fly.
Calvin Murphy picking up the foul. Let's go back at that move by Malone. That was something.
Quickness is what gets Malone in this position right there. Now he gives that move. He likes to spin back inside. He comes right there. There's no place else he can go but to the glass. Sigma just lets him wisely have it so he doesn't get called for the foul. This guy's shooting some free throws now, and he's only got 4 points.
3 to make 2. They're in the penalty. You know, Malone shoots 54%. One reason is that last play, he's always around 3 or 4 feet away from that basket.
Well, you know he's always going to be around on the offensive board, and that helps the percentage too because he's picking up on somebody else's shot.
Gus Williams now starting to heat up after a slow start. He has 6 points, 62-51. A minute 18. There's Calvin Murphy with Dennis Johnson on him. And we've got some pushing and shoving going on. Hugh Evans. It's going to be John Johnson, the guilty party. The penalty now in also at the other end. Johnson picking up the foul, and that will be his second.
This is Mike Dillon.
Lenny Wilkins. Les Haberger, his assistant on the left. And here's Mike Newland, 8-year veteran. This guy last year really had a tough time. He was out 21 games with a finger injury, 19 games with a back. Just couldn't get on track a year ago.
And you can't do anything when you're laying in the hospital or sitting on the bench. You just can't seem to get your rhythm. Your game seems to always be on vacation somewhere.
He fractured the bone in his right hand the third day of training camp and just reinstated on October 24th, starting to get back in shape. Johnson. Dennis Johnson, for a guy that hasn't been shooting well, he still has the confidence.
Well, you got to put it to the hoop. The only way you can get out of a slump is to shoot your way out of it. I've never known anyone to just go into deep freeze and find that all of a sudden the shot has come back.
Here's Murphy trying to shake Williams. Tom Janovich, see how John Johnson's playing him? There's just nothing open to him. Here's Murphy from the corner. Nice play, Malone, and again, rejected that time by Dennis Johnson, and Tom Janovich walked with it.
Well, that's just good basketball by Dennis Johnson. Malone does an excellent job to get that rebound inside and got a chance to take it back up. Johnson coming back to give the defensive help, makes the block, and Seattle has the ball and a chance to work for one more shot.
Now you can see why he has 85 blocks coming into today. All right, 27 seconds on the game clock, 18 seconds on the shot clock. You can see the time in the lower middle of your screen. John Johnson with Reed on him. Beautiful, beautiful play.
Yeah, they hung him up again the same way. Newland's gotten pinned up behind that, and that's why your teammates are so important.
66-53, Newland with 5 seconds. Nice play by Mike Newland. What a play by Newland, and that's going to end it here in the first half. So Seattle with a 66-55 halftime lead. At halftime now, stay with us as Lenny Wilkins, the coach of the Sonics, will talk about who's going to make it to the playoffs, a little insight on each one of the clubs when we come back here at the Kingdome in Seattle.
3 unidentified 19-inch color TV pictures, each the best of its brand. Over 1,000 people saw them and picked the one with the best overall picture. They didn't pick America's biggest seller, Zenith, or the second biggest, RCA. Over 60% picked the 19-inch Sylvania Superset. Over 60%. We're not the biggest, but a lot of people think we've got the best picture. The Sylvania Superset.
Your services are no longer required.
I see no future for you. Over 6 million shavers have said goodbye to their old razors and said hello to Atra, Gillette's best shave. Micro smooth twin blades and Atra face-hugging action combine to outshave every razor we've ever made.
Good shave. Sorry, sir.
Atra, Gillette's best shave.
Atra, you're supernatural.
Introducing Hertz Takeoff Rates. Save up to 50% on the average weekday rental when you take off Thursday through Sunday for a minimum of 2 to 3 days. Take off in a subcompact for only $13.95 a day. Paramounts $15.95. Granada $17.95. Thunderbirds $21.95 a day. All with no charge for mileage. There are some restrictions, so check with Hertz. Take off next weekend with Hertz low takeoff rates.
Outward Bound, Rota, Spain. The Navy. See your local recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Here in the Kingdom, the Seattle SuperSonics lead the Houston Rockets 66-55. Let's go and see if Gary Bender finds out any secrets from Lenny Wilkins.
This is an inter-squad scrimmage between Mercer Island.
This man last year did a remarkable job coaching the Seattle SuperSonics into the finals of the NBA championship, losing in the 7th and deciding game against the Washington Bullets. And this year, he coached the West All-Stars to victory in the All-Star game in Pontiac, Michigan. And Lenny Wilkins, we're nearing the end of the season. We have just a little over a month to go, 18 games remaining. We thought we'd take a look at how it would actually happen, the playoffs would happen, if we stopped today. Let's look first at the Eastern Conference and the teams with the 6 best records.
Well, of course, right now, Gary, Washington is playing the best basketball I've ever seen that team play with a 42-19 record. San Antonio is on a hot streak right now. They're 39-25, and Philly is really struggling. They're having their problems, and I think they could slide before they might, get back together. But I still think they're, got enough games that they can win and get a spot in the playoffs. Houston, 35-28. They'll be there. Atlanta, 36-29, definitely will be there. And of course, New Jersey, they're 5 games ahead of Cleveland, but I think that they're playing well enough that they'll get to the playoffs also.
Okay, I guess what's up for grabs aside from those 6 would be who might win the conference. You still have a battle going on in the Central Division. But let's switch now to the Western Conference. Los Angeles, they've been playing well.
Yes, they have. They're really playing extremely well right now. And, I thought that Kareem Jabbar was playing some of his best basketball all year long, and he's getting help from other people. The rest of the players seem to kind of blend in. Kansas City is playing just fantastic basketball. They remind me of the way we played last year. A very hungry team. They execute. They're getting 5-6 people involved in the game and doing a great job. Right now, we're struggling. Even though we have the 3rd spot, we have not been playing as well, but I think that we'll come out of it. Phoenix, they're 37-27. Denver, 36-31. San Diego, 35-32. Now, the interesting thing there is that San Diego could overtake Phoenix because Denver is really not playing well.
Now, what about Portland? They still have an outside shot.
They definitely do. They play some games at home, and they're really tough at home. And I think they got a great outside shot because, I think San Diego is playing good basketball. Denver is a key because they're really sliding, and they could fall down.
Boy, the Pacific Division. You could have 5 teams. It's a dogfight right now.
Well, it is. It's a good division, and, all these teams are capable of playing well. Denver's had their problems, but they're a very capable team. We've had our problems. I think we're a good team. San Diego is playing great. So I think that you're right. You never know. It could turn out that you might get 5 teams from the Pacific Division, or you might get, 3 and 3.
Okay, let's have a prediction then. Is Washington the best team right now in basketball?
Well, I say Washington's the best team right now. They got everybody back from last year's squad. They've added a couple of players, and they're really playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of unselfishness. Defensively, they're coming out, and they're putting their defensive game better together this year than they did last year.
Okay, out of the West, who's playing the best?
Well, out of the West right now, I have to say that Kansas City and the Lakers. The Lakers really have been playing, I think, great basketball. They got a favorable schedule, going into the last 18 games. They're playing most of them at home. So I say those are the 2 best teams right now.
What about the Sonics? They're not dead yet, are they?
Oh, we're not dead by a long shot, Gary, and you better believe we won't be giving up. We're going to be there. We just, we got to, little things build into big things. And it's the little things that hurt all the time. So we've got to, tighten up our defense a little bit, execute a little bit better, and get our game going, push our game at people, which we haven't done. I thought the last couple of games we played a lot better than we played in a long time.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Gary.
Lenny Wilkins has his club with a 66-55 lead at halftime. The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
It's those 5 fabulous guys from Flatbush paying a call on City Hall. So go to Flatbush Monday at 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
Basketball is everyone's game. Short folks, tall folks, girl folks, boy folks, young folks, all folks. Basketball is everyone's game. Basketball, it's your game.
The Sonics with an 11-point lead at halftime over the Houston Rockets. At the conclusion of today's game and of each of our NBA telecasts during the season, we'll be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game. In conjunction with this award, Chevrolet will present a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the Players College or University. Any student may be eligible to benefit from these scholarship funds. And today's winner will be announced at the end of the telecast. Steve Jones, you and I will be voting for the MVP, and should we disagree, our producer Bill Barnes will cast the deciding vote. Well, in this game, Seattle got off the mark very effectively, led first by John Johnson, who scored most of the points in the early going, and at halftime, he along with Dennis Johnson lead the way with 17 points each. But they've also gotten a very fine performance from Lonnie Shelton, who has 14 points at the halfway mark. As far as Houston is concerned, they just could not move the ball inside until they started to make a move early in the second period and then faded just before halftime. And as you look at the shooting percentages, really you would expect maybe Seattle to even have a better advantage than they do, but you can see they have been shooting well for the first half. As far as the turnovers are concerned, not near as many turnovers that looked like it would go at the start of the game, as early in the game was a little ragged and then it started to pick up. Okay, Steve Jones has a guest. Let's go over and join him.
Well, Gary, I got a reluctant John Johnson with me. He's got a hot streak going. He doesn't want me to break it. Johnny, what are you doing different today than you did in other ball games? You seem to have the offense really going very well for you.
Well, Steve, we've been in a slump, and we've been coming out sluggish. And so I decided, I'd take it in my own hand. I'm going to start looking to be a little more offensive now, because we're going down the stretch drive for the playoff, and I can't score, and I just got to start getting back into the groove.
Okay, JJ, well, you keep it up in the second half. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Gary Bender.
Excuse me, Steve, to show you how effective he's been. He hit 6 of 8 from the field in that first half of play. He had 7 assists, and that's high on the floor. Nobody even close to him. There is the scoring, as you can see it. 17 for both the Johnsons, who have really combined to do a good job in the assist department, as John Johnson has 7 in the first half, and Dennis Johnson has a total of 4. But it's been John Johnson by far the most outstanding in this first half of play. Shelton coming on out of that scoring slump is in double figures for the first time in 5 games. Sigma doing a good job of trying to contain Moses Malone. On the other hand, the Houston Rockets, well, they have had pretty good balanced scoring, as Malone was 17, Murphy with a total of 16, and Newland with a total of 10. The Sonics by 11. We're going to be back with the start of the second half here in the Kingdome in just a moment.
We're going to show Grandma our new Chevy Malibu.
A freshly sliced apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
The 1979 Chevy Malibu has the right room, right headroom, legroom, and trunk room. The right size, new family midsize.
Looks like Bill bought himself a new Malibu.
The right ingredients, like an impressive mileage rating and a beautiful body by Fisher. It's got the right name, Chevrolet. No wonder it's a family favorite.
A freshly sliced apple pie
called Chevy Malibu.
You can feel the heat before you even get close. But the only way to kill the flames is to fight them face to face until they finally die, and you lead your men to cooler air and Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find, Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, we got the beer, Miller beer.
We're going to take you on an impossible business trip. 26 cities in 25 seconds. You'll find an airport Hilton in every one of these cities. So the next time you have an impossible business trip, remember Hilton. We can make an airport a great place to get your feet back on the ground.
There's no place like Hilton.
This used to be a flourishing, gold-rich town, but the gold ran out. Today, we risk losing something more precious than gold, our country's energy. We waste a lot of it. By using energy wisely now, we can light the way to a brighter future for our children and their children. Let's not blow it, America. For information, write the Alliance to Save Energy.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. The NBA on CBS is sponsored by Allstate Insurance Company. You're in good hands with Allstate. Wang, makers of computers and word processors. And by Avis, featuring Super Saver, weekend, holiday, and vacation rates.
Watch the NBA on CBS.
Just about ready to start the second half. Calvin Murphy having a very impressive first half, and Steve Jones is with him. Let's go with him.
Calvin Murphy, you've been running all over this court. What are you guys going to run into to get back in this basketball game?
First of all, they have a 17-2 on the fast break. We got to stop their break. They're taking the weak side and taking them out high, and they're bringing the guard off the double screen, and we're not getting any help defensively on the weak side. So we got to cut that one play off and try to get some opportunity baskets on them before they get a chance to set up on us defensively.
All right, Calvin, thanks. Good luck in the second half. Let's go back to Gary Bender.
Steve, as in this first half of play, we were talking about the fact that there's the scoring for Houston. Malone, Murphy, and Newland all in double figures. And it was Malone who early in the game really wasn't involved that much in the offense, but then he started to pick it up. What I started to say is that Houston shooting 51% from the field in the first half of play. I think we had earlier 62. And on the other hand, Seattle shooting almost 59% from the field. And I think that's in great contrast to what they've been doing. As Seattle during the month of February hit only 45% from the field. They had been somewhat in a shooting slump, but they picked it up today. And I think one reason that really points that out is that they have 20 assists in the first half as opposed to 9 for Houston. When you have that many assists, Steve Jones, that usually means you're getting the ball inside.
Well, that means everyone's getting the ball, too, and a lot of people are getting a chance to put it up. And, Houston's shooting 51%, but that means a lot of individual efforts, and they aren't getting the assist. And, of course, again, you talk about home cooking, and the assists always seem to be up at home. Visiting teams don't get too many.
Well, I tell you, home cooking for Houston's been good this year. They've played at a 23-9 clip at home. Seattle hasn't been quite that effective at home this year. They are 24-10. Here's Malone. And Malone already starts it out in a hurry. He has 19 points.
Again, we talk about a quiet 19 points. I mean, he's been scoring, and he's been very effective. Everything has been down and deep, and Seattle tries to come down and set up and get an easy hoop to start their period off.
There's John Johnson. Malone there with a rebound once again. Boy, what a job he does in the rebounding department. 37 in one game earlier this year against New Orleans. Calvin Murphy from the corner. And you saw that, about 4 white shirts around the basket.
Well, you notice the difference. So the Rockets have gotten back, so Seattle has to walk the ball up, and that's not the way they started off the first period. That's what got them the lead, and the game is seesawed back and forth.
John Johnson inside. Johnson, 19 points. He and Malone now, the high point men on the floor. John Johnson just putting it together both ends of the floor. Here's Newland off to Tom Janovich. Tom Janovich in that first half with only 4 points. Malone, 21 points for the big guy. And he had to almost carry that one to the basket.
That's a tough 21. 3 guys draped all over him, and he gets no whistle, but he does get the hoop, and they come right back and try and knock it inside.
Shelton tried to tip that one to no avail. 68-59. Calvin Murphy broken up by Gus Williams. It'll be Houston's basketball.
Well, you think this guy's not tough. Tom Janovich makes an excellent pass inside. Now watch everybody collapse. He goes back in. There are 3 shirts around him. The ball bounces up, and they work again live, and he gets another hoop.
You think maybe Tom Nasaki said, let's get the ball to number 24?
Bread and butter.
Boy, he is coming out here with 23 points. He's hit 3 field goals in a hurry as Nasaki looking on. His team trailing by 7. Malone has hit 6 straight field goals. He had 6 earlier straight. Well, rebound Malone, and he's taking over this game right now.
Gary, I think that's a total of 9 straight. He had 6 at the end of the half, and now he's come back with these 3 right here, so he's right on top of the situation offensively.
That was Shelton picking up his 2nd foul of the game. And right now, with a chance to move the closest they've been in a long time, Houston, as they're down by 7. Calvin Murphy, Williams trying to stay on him. The little guy just went by him.
Well, they've made an adjustment. Now the Sonics are going to have to call a timeout right here, see if they can make some kind of adjustment. They seem to have gone to sleep. You'll see little Murph gets the ball right here, and he's always offensive-minded, takes it in the well on everybody, including Big Jack Sikma.
He saw Williams kind of shading him inside, and he just went outside on him. There's Sikma, tough shot, rebound Tom Janovich. Out to Newland. They can cut this game to 3. Calvin Murphy, that was a difficult pass. 3-point game.
That wasn't a difficult pass, and that's going to get Lenny Wilkins to call a timeout, as they've reeled off a bunch of points in a row to get within 3. And certainly the Seattle SuperSonics have got to make an adjustment, or this game will go the way it went against the Cleveland Cavaliers, out the window.
Avis Super Saver rates. Special rates that save you money. Like our 7-day See America rate.
Look out, L.A. Bye.
Or our special holiday rates.
We get to go to grandmother's house.
And on weekends, Avis Super Saver rates can save you up to 50% off our weekday rates.
50% off?
Up to 50%.
See you Monday.
Call our toll-free number or your travel consultant. Some restrictions do apply.
We're losing control of the ship. If we're to steer this operation right, we need computers. David, call the Giant.
Sir, let's call the Giant Killers. Wang!
If instant business information will help you run your business better, big or small, Wang has a computer system for you.
Avast the inventories. Hard right receivables.
Oh, profits ahead.
A family is about to lose its home forever. Not the home on the left. Allstate Homeowners Insurance can pay to rebuild that house. The real disaster is on the right. The owner died before the mortgage was paid. Allstate Life has mortgage protection insurance to help give your family a debt-free home if you die. You need mortgage protection insurance, too. So your family won't lose its home, see your Allstate agent for both kinds of insurance. Make sure your home lives on. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Next Saturday and Sunday, see the top touring pros shooting it out in the Jackie Gleason Inverary Classic. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
One other game underway on the West Coast. Portland and Cleveland, they're all deadlocked at halftime, 43 all.
They can't afford to lose a game at home since they're having such a tough time away. They've got to get themselves some breathing room. They are at 500. They have a shot at making the playoffs, but they need every home court victory they can get.
All of a sudden, after leading by 11 at halftime, the Sonics lead has been whittled to 3 as we come back in. Sikma, he shot that with Malone right in his face. He might have even deflected the ball. And now a chance to pull within 1. Houston. Here's Murphy, way short.
Murph got a little happy that time. He was going on a 1-on-4 situation.
John Johnson from the side, Gus Williams, and right now the Sonics are not getting the ball to drop for him, but they're also not getting it inside like they were earlier.
They had a different type of a shot, and here's a guy we haven't heard from in some time, and he comes up with a big hoop again to draw him a little bit closer. 8:50, a lot of time left in the game, Gary, and certainly the Sonics are going to try and find that magic they had earlier.
Believe it or not, that's the first 2 points of the game for Rick Barry, who got into foul trouble early, picking up 3. Here's John Johnson, Newland on him, getting a little physical in there now. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Dennis Johnson with 4 seconds on it.
John Johnson had scored the only Sonics points up until that Dennis Johnson hoop. It almost went almost 4 minutes without a basket from anyone else on the court.
Both Johnson now with 19 points. That foul will go on Gus Williams, his second. Newland will trigger it from the side. We have a good one here with 8:22 to go in this third period. 70-67, Seattle with a lead. They led by 11 at halftime. Here's Barry. He may get into this game now. I think he's going to try. That was a tough shot. Here's Gus Williams. Williams driving on Newland. It's charging. Williams is called for charging. And this partisan Sonics crowd doesn't agree with that one at all. Tom Nasalki liked it, though.
Well, of course, he's going to be upstanding and cheering. Lenny, he's got a lot to say about the opposite, but Newland was there. Gus Williams got that shoulder buried into him, and there wasn't anything he could do.
Good defensive play by Newland, and now a chance to move within a 1 again is Houston. Here's Newland wide open. Rebound Sickman. Did you see him box out on that one?
Hey, it's the first time he's boxed all day. He's got to box on Malone, though, because he's getting awful strong right now.
There's Shelton, and Shelton's been fouled by Tom Janovich. Lonnie Shelton will move to the line. That's what they say about Malone. You just can't believe how he'll work. He'll never give you a moment's.
Well, he won't give you a moment's rest, and neither will this guy when he can get down in this area right here. Gary, he gets down and deep, and he just gets Tom Janovich on his back. The Sonics are not so dumb. They go right back to what's been successful for them, and they get a basket from it, or at least an attempted hoop.
That was the second foul on Rudy T. as Lonnie Shelton converts both of them. He has 16 points. 72-67. Newland to Tom Janovich. Seattle now starting to get a little breathing room after having to close down. Malone wheeling in.
Boy, he gets all kinds of bounces on that rim. You know, he puts so much spin on the ball, it stays up there a lot longer. And, of course, if he misses, he can always chase because he'll get to it before anyone else.
He's above his seasonal average now with 25 points. He came in here averaging just over 24. 72-69, three-point game again. Sigma. Johnson trying to follow, and they're doing a better job now on the defensive boards.
They're limiting him just one shot, and of course it's the type that comes from the outside. Malone working inside again. He's on fire. I don't know when he missed a shot.
I don't either. We're going to have to check. He may have 11 in a row. I don't know. Lenny Wilkins thought there should have been a foul on that. He thought, I believe, that Malone was pushing off on the play.
And when a guy's got that kind of smoke going, you ask for all the help you can get.
1 point game now. Into Shelton. Shelton is fouled. We're going to have a timeout called at the 6:49 mark, but what a game we have shaping up here at the Kingdome. Houston, after trailing by 11 at halftime, trail only by 1 as Barry picks up his 4th foul.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hey, where's Bob?
I thought he was with you.
No, you're kidding.
He's not down yet. Hey, don't you think something happened?
Let's start looking.
Hey! How about a Lowenbrow?
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Hey, you know, for a minute there, you really had us worried.
I know. Thanks.
This is it!
America, if you want a good-looking, full-size wagon with a handy door gate that opens 3 ways.
This is it!
This is it.
This is it!
With twin lockable storage compartments.
This is it!
Push-button seat conversion.
This is it!
Plus a real nice feeling on the road.
This is it.
The new generation Chevrolet. In just 2 years, America's best-selling wagon. See and drive it at your Chevrolet dealers now.
Welcome to our people-pleasing places.
You're confirmed in Chicago and St. Louis, and you're going to love the ending.
Meet our people-pleasing faces.
Holiday Inn Hotels are #1 in the world, with the best locations near where you want to be.
I can walk.
The most popular choice of locations. We want to make you comfortable.
Holiday Inn is #1 people-pleasing.
Well, the challenge of the sexes, it'll be basketball, figure skating, and track next Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern. And there's Lenny Wilkins. He's trying to map some strategy. He had his 11-point lead whittled down to 1 now. And one reason is a play of Moses Malone. And Steve Jones, we've checked, he's hit 12 of his last 13 field goal attempts.
Well, Gary, it's Sunday. I guess Moses is going to take somebody to the promised land somehow.
Whew. He has 27 points in this game.
Now all he'll do is probably go to work on those boards. Have another one of those 33-point, 37-rebound type of days. He's awfully tough and just seems to get better. The Sonics are coming right back with this guy and trying to bury him down and deep and overpower Rudy Tomjanovich. So we got an excellent inside game going right now.
Shelton having an excellent game. Coming back from that slump, he has 18 points now. It's back to 3. Newland to Rick Barry, who picked up his 4th foul just before that timeout. Rebound Malone. He's always around the ball. Look at him hustle it up, and he's been fouled. Now that's just tenacity. He just stays with it.
Working harder all the time. He just goes after it. He's wearing Jack Sikma down. They need to bring 2 or 3 centers in there to wear this young fella out. He just seems to have more strength and stamina than anyone in the league. He wants it. Just a hungry basketball player.
They say he has an overwhelming desire to get the ball. He has 2 free throws coming. He's not a bad free throw shooter, 72%. He leads the NBA in minutes played. He set a new NBA offensive rebounding record. He's already, thus far, gone over 437 rebounds offensively, which broke his old record he set 2 years ago.
Do you think the New York Knicks will take him now?
Look at the Weedle, would you? He's got the best seat in the house. 74-73, a 1-point game again. Dennis Johnson. There's John Johnson with yet another rebound. He lost it. It'll be Houston's. And the Rockets now have a chance to take the lead in this game. 6:15 to go, 3rd period.
Well, I know they got you excited. Your hands are awful sweaty over here. They've played an excellent second half so far, and they've really shut these SuperSonics down.
There's Murphy. He kind of had to change his shot that time. Gus Williams was right on top of him, and Williams picks up his 4th personal foul.
We often talk about control and getting a little help from your friends. Again, you'll see Murphy. He comes clean out of the top to get that shot off, and Gus Williams, who was picked off, had no choice but to try to come over the top. When you got a player in that position, what you really try to do is make him rush the shot and hope you don't foul him.
Well, Calvin Murphy, if he could sink both of these free throws, would give Houston the lead for the first time in this game. It's all tied up now, 74-all. Now Gus Williams comes out, and here comes downtown Fred Brown, and he might change the picture a little bit.
Well, the folks are hoping that he's got his throttle wide open, and he's offensively on the go. He has said that he is shooting the ball better, but he would like a little bit more time out on the court. The only way he's going to get it is to make a few hoops.
And now it's a 75-74 game. Houston with the first lead. Calvin Murphy with 22. Hang on. We go inside. 6 minutes to go in the 3rd period. Into Sikma. Trying to back in with Malone. Help from Newland. Tough shot. He's fouled by Moses. Moses picking up his 3rd foul.
Malone normally gives this guy a pretty tough time with the long arms. Now Sikma backing down. Newland gives a little help and reaching. Tries to get him off balance. Malone comes from the side. Looks like he got all ball to me. But we got the benefit of another pair of eyes.
We got 20/20 vision. As Sikma able to hit it. And you got those replays. Boy, it really should show some things. The banger, they call him. Sikma. Averaging 15.5 a game, and he gives Seattle the lead once again, 76-75. Newland with Fred Brown on him. Nice play by Brown. Fred Brown coming in. He's known for his offense, but that was a good defensive play.
Well, Fred Brown is an excellent play the lanes. He plays them very well, a passing lane. Get another basket from Monty Shelton, and again, they're right back on top with the 3-point lead.
Shelton with 20 points, and I would say he's out of that scoring slump. 78-75, so back up on top by 3, the Sonics. Terry with Johnson all over him. Moses Malone, and Malone goes back to work.
Well, there's nothing you can do, Jack Sikma, but suffer. The Blues are right there on you. When you let a fella get down in that deep, you're going to hurt every time. He wants it back, and they say Malone trips.
That's 31 points for Malone. You know, his high this year is 45. Picking up the foul is Malone, and that's his 4th.
Well, he picks up his 4th, but he's hustling right here now. It looks like Sikma just goes on his own. He stepped on the top of his foot. He got bailed out there that time, and that hurts the Rockets with him having 4 fouls.
Well, he's picked up 2 that were a little shaky, but it's 78-77. Seattle by 1. 5 minutes to go, 3rd period. Shelton to Fred Brown. Murphy on him. John Johnson. Barry, the good defense. Malone with a good rebound. Who else?
When he gets the rebound, he looks around like, are you crazy?
Get out of here. This is my game. Here's Tom Janovich. He doesn't shoot often, but he sure can. 79-78, and for the second time in this game now, Houston has taken the lead.
Well, the Houston Rockets have done an excellent job of going inside to Malone, then coming back outside with Murphy, Barry, and Tomjanovich and Newland, and they're just a tough offensive unit when they got it going like this.
Jack Sikmo with 12 points. He had 8 in the first half of play. So a seesaw affair here now at the Kingdom. Barry, oh, he's forcing that one. You know, Rick Barry, you know, he's just really had to change his role with this team, and he looks like he's just right now not comfortable out there.
Well, he's a little lost because he's, you know, in the twilight of his career, and he certainly would like to play better, and sometimes it just won't go for him. He's not a real good perimeter shooter, but he's an excellent all-around basketball player.
He has only 2 points. There's Newland, followed. Beautiful attempt by Tom Janovich, but it won't go. Off to Shelton. To Brown, both of them now picking up the tempo. Shelton trying to pick up the foul. Brown hits. Shelton was hit by little Calvin Murphy. You thought it was a tank that hit him.
Again, the big fellas, they know how to take those dives. You know, you just can't get knocked down like that. And Murphy comes right back. Shelton knocks Malone down. You see how he sprawled out on the floor.
Well, that basket by Murphy will count, but there's a foul away from the basket as Shelton backed into Malone. Shelton picking up his 3rd personal foul.
See Malone down and deep trying to work. Now Shelton just comes in and bangs him out of the way. He goes down. Now watch him just lay out on the court there. And it's a big difference when Lonnie Shelton and Calvin Murphy start knocking you around.
Well, with a chance now to come back and take the lead, the Houston Rockets.
When you want it cut out quick, our brand's the one to pick. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC. We help you pick up speed when speed is what you need. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC. So when you want to go, we're the name to know. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC.
Thanks, AC.
Now there's a breakthrough in large head racket design. A racket that looks big and plays big. The new Wilson Extra. It plays big. With a denser string pattern for solid control. It plays big. With a stiffer aluminum frame for extraordinary power. No other large head racket is bigger or plays bigger. The Wilson Extra. It's not just a big racket. It's a big game. Wilson. We're not number 1 for nothing.
Agent Brent Whitlock talks about family insurance.
You have an obligation to that individual when he buys an insurance policy from you to back up what you tell him. You're selling him a service. It's an intangible. The only way you can prove that you're worth what you say you are, or your company is as good as you say it is to be there when he needs you and provide the service that he deserves.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, there's a mascot of the Seattle SuperSonics, the Weedle. I tell you, he's got great quickness, doesn't he?
He's got great quickness, but he'll win nobody's disco contest out there.
If you had that much hair, you wouldn't move around very fast either. Hey, looking ahead, next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the new look. We have the 1979 Southeastern Classic from Greenville, South Carolina. That's some bowling coming your way. Women's bowling in the WPA, and I'll tell you what a show they put on yesterday in the Detroit Open. And then also the fight of the week from Rahway State Prison, James Scott and Richie Cates. And there's Slick Watts. He was quite a hero here for many years in Seattle.
He was the mayor, deposed when Lenny Wilkins came in, and he's a different personality now, very quiet. He's awfully happy to be back up here, and he's glad to see the Rockets are doing as well as we look at Malone on the line.
Well, Moses Malone thus far with 31 points. He's playing with 4 fouls. He has 10 rebounds.
Well, that's not an impressive number for Moses Malone. 10 rebounds would be big for maybe someone like Johnny Johnson, but Malone, that's a poor effort. As you see, his average is 17, almost 18 rebounds a game.
Well, Seattle hit almost 59% of the shots in the first half, so there maybe weren't that many boards. But he has a chance now to tie this game up, and does. 82-82.
I know you had that MVP going for Johnny Johnson a little bit earlier, but you know, Double M may come in here and sweep it away.
I'm starting to vacillate just a little bit on that. 3:22 left in this third period. A lot of basketball. Sigma. Jack Sigma now starting to make his presence felt. He has 14 points.
Well, Lenny Wilkins, knowing that Malone has 4, knowing that they really can't get the same type of offensive thrust, has decided to go inside with Sigma as much as he can.
There's Newland trying to get open. Tomjanovich, they left him open. Rebound, Sigma. Sigma doing a good job now on the defensive board. Blocking out well on him. Sigma in this game has a handful of rebounds, 14 points and 7 rebounds. John Johnson, Barry on him. Sigma again, and he's going for 3 in a row. Wait a minute, that's offensive goaltending. Dennis Johnson up there above the cylinder.
Just a great effort by Johnson, coming underneath unmolested. He comes in, he goes up, now he sees he can't get it on the other side, changes hands to just get the contact with the ball. That's just a tremendous athletic effort.
Mike Dunleavy has checked in now, replacing Mike Newland. And this is Robert Reed, who's checked in for Rick Barry. Barry goes out with 4 fouls. Dunleavy, that's not a bad effort just to come off the bench. He's tied it up.
Well, Dunleavy, they like him quite a bit. They signed him to a new contract down there, a 3-year jobber, and he comes back and helps them, and they come right back inside with Shelton. Malone has shown both coaches the way they're wearing that green area out as they just stay inside.
Shelton with 22 points, and that's the Shelton that Lenny Wilkins has been looking for since he's been in that slump. Malone's got 3 people on him.
Oh, that excited you a little bit. You thought he was going to get that one down, too.
There's Freddie Brown. Don't see him miss those very often. Shelton keeps it in play for the Sonics. Inside 2 minutes to go in this third period. Malone trying to get it. Who's got it? Reed comes away with it. Boy, it's getting a little fast and furious now. Saved by Dunleavy. Reed at 6'8" can really handle the ball.
Well, he used to be a guard, and, you know, he just all of a sudden had one of those years where he grew 4 or 5 inches, and now he's a forward, and he looks inside for Malone, who gets whacked, but gets the shot away anyway.
Boy, that was some play. Is he strong? 86 all. Now that shot, I don't know how he even got it away, but he did.
Oh, Nasalki's up storming and screaming, let me have that foul, let me have it. We need all the points we can get.
34 points for Moses Malone. Remember, his high for the year is 45. And there's a foul inside. Let's go back to that play by Malone.
Well, the flash is what gets him here. You see Sigma has him covered. All of a sudden, he dances around him. He's in, down, and deep. He turns, puts the ball behind his head, a la Jack Sigma. Gets some contact, but they don't get the foul. And then they come right back at the other end and go inside to Shelton. He gets fouled, and Paul Silas comes in. Malone's going to get a break.
And coming in for him is Dwight Jones. That foul, by the way, was on Tomjanovich, his 3rd. Shelton at the line and having a very, very fine afternoon. He right now is well over his average. He's been averaging 13 a game. He has 23 right now. And there's Moses Malone, who goes out of the game with 10 rebounds and 34 points just to catch a breather. He'll be back. A little over a minute to go, third period. Tomjanovich with Silas on him.
Rudy said it's about time Mo got out of the game so he could get himself going. He's gotten off there on Silas right away. He gets a quick hoop.
Plus the fact John Johnson's not in there right now. That's been the guy that's been really harassing him all day long. 1-point lead for Houston. There's another score. Washington leading San Antonio. What a shootout they're having. We'll keep you posted on that one. Here's Dunleavy, and we have a foul just as they cross the 10-second line. Dennis Johnson picked it up. That's his 3rd.
Well, not a good foul by Dennis Johnson in the backcourt right there with not much chances. He gambled out high, and he puts him on the free throw line. Lenny Wilkins is not happy about that.
And now Gus Williams will come in. Let's look at that foul.
Well, we just get a quick look at it right there. Dennis Johnson reaching in. Not a lot of contact, but enough. And they say it all evens out. If you play this game long enough, you'll get some that you shouldn't have got.
Dunleavy gives them a 2-point lead, 89-87. Dunleavy was 7 points. This guy played his collegiate basketball at South Carolina. 6th-round draft pick of the Philadelphia 76ers in 77. 90-87, the biggest lead of the game for Houston. They lead by 3, 35 seconds. You see the time in the lower portion of your screen, and a foul on Dwight Jones.
Well, Jack Sigma, get the same feeling as Nasalki pacing up and down the sidelines. He makes a point to someone back there. It looks like someone in the audience. Murphy comes over and has a few words with him. But Sigma taking a lesson from Malone. He blasted to that spot down and deep, got a good position. Dwight Jones had no choices. He had his hands all in his back. He's on the free throw line. Pretty good free thrower.
Boy, I like this guy. All he does is play hard for you every time they go on the floor.
Well, that's what those coaches want. They want a guy that'll give a good, honest effort every night. We've got a real tough game right here.
90-89, Houston by 1. Calvin Murphy, look at that little shovel, would you? That's amazing. At 5'9" or whatever he is,
that's
get
not
away
what
with
the
that.
big guys are saying either. Look at that little.
Just kind of sneaks it around you is what he does. 3-point lead. There you see the time remaining in the third period. What a battle we're going to have on that fourth and final period. Sikma with Dwight Jones on him. And that is off of Seattle. It's going to be Houston's ball with 4 seconds. Here's Dunleavy on the drive. He's going to have a good crack at it. And that's going to end the third period of play. So the Houston Rockets, after trailing by 11 at halftime, have taken a 92-89 lead as Dunleavy tries to give them a 2-point advantage more, but to no avail.
You know me as Mr. Goodwrench, the professional mechanic who cares about your GM car. But your participating GM dealer also has a Mr. Goodwrench who cares at the service write-up desk and in the parts department. We're all over the service department, just to be sure your GM car gets Mr. Goodwrench professional care.
You never had it so good.
Keep that great GM feeling
With Mr. Goodwrench.
That's us.
And genuine GM parts.
The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
Join 100 couples from all over America for the 200th episode celebration of All in the Family. Hosted by Norman Lear, Sunday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
Well, as you know, we have the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player Award at the end of this game, and right now, one of the guys that's got to be considered is Moses Malone. He has 34 points in this game and 10 rebounds, so stay tuned for that MVP award at the conclusion of this game. Fourth quarter, attendance today, 21,219, the 12th 20,000-plus crowd of the year here in Seattle, and they're getting entertained this afternoon.
Well, don't tell the Sonics that, because every time they have a crowd of 20-plus, they seem to find a way to lose the game, and they're in a tight one here as Johnson takes it. Williams takes that shot, and Sikma works it back in.
Sikma has just been like the bread and butter man. There they are, all 20,000-plus, 21,219 to be exact, and now Sikma with 18 points. That's a tough shot by Reed. Little Calvin Murphy trying to get up there with the big people, and they get it. Murphy, wide open.
Well, Robert Reed, he takes a tough shot, but he hustles right out of that as he beat Fred Brown to the spot on the ball and makes it back to Murphy, who gets his shot down. The Sonics again have to slow the pace down. They don't seem to work their set patterns nearly as well as they had that running game going in the first period.
This game has been tied 6 times. We've had 11 lead changes. Gus Williams, and he's in there, and we've got a loose ball foul. Gus Williams inside and all that traffic, and jostled around inside, and Dwight Jones picked up his 4th foul.
Well, everybody trying to get in as close as they can, and Williams has an excellent shot right there, but a little bit too much spin on it, and then Dwight Jones comes over the top, and the Sonics have the ball as they look for Freddie Brown. 4th and final period of this game. Fred Brown
Here's Dunleavy coming away with it.
Fred Brown's the only guy that has a 5-footer and ends up with the 15 at the end of his shot.
He missed a shot as he had the lane cleared, and he got mixed up on one hand he wanted to use on that drive.
Well, all of a sudden it just came open. Dunleavy, an opportunist every time he can. Now all of a sudden there's no Sonics back. He takes it with that offhand right there. Too much speed, and it won't go down for him, but he does get the free throws.
And the foul from Paul Silas. So Dunleavy at the line. Here's a case of a guy that looked like his career was over in the NBA. With the hustle and the attitude he's had, he's found a place.
Well, you know, it's so important to be in the right spot at the right time, and the right spot seems to be the Houston Rockets and Mike Dunleavy. They play his style of ball where he doesn't have excellent foot speed, but he does have pretty good quickness, and that helps him offensively.
Backdoor, beautiful pass by Sickman. Boy, that's just good teamwork. 96-93, three-point lead for Houston. 10.5 minutes to go in this one. Reed outside. That's quite a move by Reed.
Reed comes right back at him, but notice again, both teams shooting that ball all down in the green area. They just are running their patterns to good offensive perfection, and they're getting those kinds of shots.
Lenny Wilkins up and yelling some instructions in. Off to Sigma. 10 seconds on the shot clock. That's the shot he likes. He just backs you in, and then he falls away with that jumper.
Well, he looked at Tom Nasaki and said, please keep the big guy down over there. I can get a few going here.
Sigma with 20 points for the afternoon, and a foul spotted by Ed Rush. Still waiting to see who that one's on. It's going to be on Williams, and that's his 5th.
Oh, we get another look at some real good teamwork. We go back a couple of plays. Now watch that feed from Sigma to the cutting Gus Williams right inside, left Murphy clean.
And that's a good job by director John McDonough, who got that one all the way. And here comes Dennis Johnson in for Gus Williams, who leads with 5 personal fouls. That's pretty good depth, isn't it, when you have Williams, Brown, and Johnson in that backcourt?
Well, certainly every coach would like to have that type of balance and be able to make those kinds of switches without being hurt too much.
Hugh Evans caught somebody bouncing into Reed. A little late with the whistle, but it was there. Brown picking up his 2nd.
Well, you know, they won't complain as long as you blow it. Tom Nasaki's going to be happy because he feels as though they've had a lot of them missed this afternoon.
And already it's 3 team fouls against Seattle. There's your situation on the game today, and Rudy T connects. He's in double figures with 10 points. A 5-point lead now for the Houston Rockets. Fred Brown's going to cut it. As the PA guy just very subtly said, downtown. That's what it is. He just zipped one in, and he's done that a few times in his career. Right, back to a 3-point game. Tom Janovich, tough shot with Silas all over him. Sigma with a rebound. Here comes Fred Brown. This crowd now picking up in intensity. Brown again, and he's got the hot hand and look out. It's a 1-point game.
Well, he looked at Calvin Murphy and said, you know the name of that tune, and he's coming right back, and you look for Murphy to try to do the same thing. He gets picked clean, and they got a chance to break.
Johnson trying to give Seattle the lead. Reed there with a big rebound. He brings it out to Dunleavy.
Probably should have caught that ball up to Fred Brown on the other side as Dunleavy comes back and keeps that advantage of 3.
It's amazing. The guy's got the confidence in his shooting, comes off the bench, and he wanted the shot, and he nailed it. 102-99. Oh, this crowd now, they're seeing some action out here. They're being entertained. Sigma with Reed on him. What a play. The guy goes in, he's fouled.
Everybody
now, he showed me
wanted
the
that
ability
one.
to put the ball down there and go in.
Well, the chairman of the board, you know him. Everybody knows him. He's back in the game right now. He's going to quiet all of this down and see if they can't really get control of this ball game. Sigma has really had a field day on Dwight Jones. As the 21,219 look on, they're very happy that Sigma's on the line.
Sigma, by the way, now has 11 rebounds, and he also has a total of 20 points.
Well, they had 22 in the losing effort, and certainly they don't want to see him get another 22 in a losing effort today. All of the Sonics are pulling for him to have a strong game. He misses the front end of that free throw, but he's had a tough afternoon. He's a tired player, so he's going to miss a few.
And now a fresh Moses Malone has come in, and he's going to draw the chore, trying to stay with this guy. I don't know if that's possible. 102-99. Moses Malone in the game with 34 points. Dunleavy to Reed. Tom Nasaki along with Del Harris, his assistant, up. They're looking for the pattern play. Tom Janovich going to take it. He's fouled. The foul will go on Silas. And Silas now has 3. There is Nasalki and Harris. They were up on that last play. They were trying to work something inside.
That looked like those boys went and got those coaches the same place down there in Texas. But neither one of them are complaining.
See what Sigma thinks of that last play.
He's not happy at all.
Okay, Rudy T at the line. Substitution now. Sigma comes out of the game. And Dennis Autry comes in to replace him.
Well, the thing that's so impressive about the Houston Rockets is when they offensively got it going, and in a very tight game, there's almost no one out there that you can really foul because they all shoot in the high 80s.
Dwight Jones is getting ready to come into the Houston lineup. A 4-point lead now for Houston. 8 minutes to go in this game. Autry, who just checked in to Silas. Dennis Johnson backing in on Dunleavy. Tough shot. Malone had a hand on it. Here comes Reed to Dunleavy. Brown is back. Dunleavy takes him in. He can't do it. Here comes Johnson. Off to Shelton. The chase is on. Reed and Shelton, and Reed broke it up. Good defensive play.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. That Robert Reed has got tremendous speed. What was even more amazing was how he tight-roped it down there, avoiding all the cameramen. Didn't knock anybody down to catch Lonnie Shelton and prevent that easy breakaway hoop. Nasalki really likes him. He's going to find some playing time for him. You can be sure of that.
So Johnson, he shakes loose, rebounds Silas, and the old 35-year-old veteran can still do it.
Well, he showed Moses Malone that he still is an offensive rebounder himself. Malone, the premier rebounder and the lead on the offensive end.
Boy, this crowd now really alive. This crowd comes up with a steal. They have a chance to tie it up. Fred Brown with a hot hand. Rebound, Murphy, he almost rattled him.
But they had Malone down here by himself cleaning, just couldn't kick the ball to him.
That would have been an easy 2. In their haste to get there, they couldn't come up with it. Shelton ties it up. Lonnie Shelton now with 25 points, and what an effort by Shelton. As it's now a brand new game, 103 all. 7 minutes to go in the game. Nasalki up and motioning some.
Well, this game has playoff intensity, but this is what basketball is really all about. You want to be in a tight, close ball game. You want to see who wants to be a player. Murphy will take the shot.
That ball looked like it might have been deflected a little bit. It's going to be Seattle's ball, and we have a timeout, and the crowd's on their feet here in the Kingdome. With 6:48 to go, this game is tied up for the 7th time, 103 all. We'll be back in a moment as we've got a good one going here.
Welcome to America, sir.
The new Chevrolet is a delightfully smooth, comfortable car to ride in.
I say, is this one of ours?
Oh, it's one of theirs. Chevrolet Caprice Classic.
I hope our accommodations are this comfortable.
Sir, what are your impressions of America?
I think your cars
We think your roads are admirably smooth. Feel the quiet smoothness of the new Chevrolet Caprice or Impala. Feel it soon.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer will
Oh, Brown. What's all this? Compliments of the gentleman at the bar, sir. That is no gentleman.
That's Tom Grant. Tom, I don't believe it.
What's it been, 5 years?
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brown.
Somebody's got to say it, you two. Here's to good friends.
All right.
Olympic medalist Susie Korok for Color Track by RCA.
My hat's blue, my vest is yellow, and my pants are hot dog red. If these colors don't look right, see them on a 1979 Color Track. Getting the color right is what it's all about. And now, with channel lock tuning, it tracks the color more automatically than ever.
Before you see the Color Track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
You're gonna love Mary Tyler Moore as Mary McKinnon. Watch for the premiere of the Mary Tyler Moore Hour, Sunday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain.
Go for it.
Well, Gary Bender, that looks like one of those pins in that bowling classic that you're going to handle right there. You see Malone is sandwiched by Lonnie Shelton and Dennis Autry. No breathing room right there. They're not going to allow the chairman to get his hands on that basketball.
Well, he's gotten it a few times, hasn't he? Has 34 points thus far. Moses Malone. But right now, it's 103 all. Houston had a 5-point lead, and all of a sudden it dissolved in a hurry. And look at Portland. They've moved away from the Cleveland Cavaliers, haven't they?
That's a typical Trailblazer burst, and you can see a very tight ball game as San Antonio has a 5-point lead on Washington.
All of that action coming from the Eastern Conference, and boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be quite a showdown when the playoffs get underway in a little over a month.
Nothing is tighter right now than this ball game right here, and Fred Brown is going to try and do something about that.
Malone with yet another rebound. It was Reed, though, that really set that one up. Reed really hustling. 6.5 minutes to go to decide the issue here before 21,000 fans. Reed picked up by Lonnie Shelton. What a game Shelton has had. 25 points. Dunleavy seeing a lot of playing time. Using a screen by Malone. He's in trouble. He lost it.
Well, Dunleavy may not see much more playing time. That's his third turnover in a row, and certainly that is what's helped to get them back in the basketball games. We take another look. Faking the ball outside. Now he just runs out of room as Autry just blocks the baseline. We come back to live action.
Ball went into Autry. Fred Brown, look at that shot. Look who's got the rebound. Moses Malone, 2-on-1. Dunleavy, he's going to go, and he's called for charging into Autry.
Malone was coming. All he was telling him, just throw it up on the glass. I'll take care of the rest. He got down, and you'll see Dunleavy all of a sudden having a fine game, now struggling, getting a little bit too hungry, not reading. They had a 2-on-1 break. Again, the man is there is Harpo, and that's what he really does best, get in the way, move bodies around.
Dunleavy picking up the foul, his first. 103 all. 5:45 to go in the game. It's been tied 7 times. Lonnie Shelton. Shelton with 27 points.
Well, I don't know about you, but we got to have a conversation about that MVP yet. Malone has been dominating things in the second period, but number 8 on the Sonics is really coming back and keeping them in the ball game.
And coming off of some shaky performances, where he'd averaged 5 points the last 4 games. Malone's going to get 35 and 36. No, won't go. He's had some of those drop, but not this time.
Well, he teased everybody here with that one. It looked like it was going to come back in, but it didn't, and Calvin Murphy is up quickly trying to get in this basketball game.
Lonnie Shelton. You can see Shelton playing with a confidence now to Autry. Autry, they collapse on him. Tries to hit Silas in a foul. Looks like it was Dwight Jones maybe reaching in on the play. That's who it is, and that's 5 on him. Dunleavy checks out. Murphy checks in for Houston. That's 3 team fouls. Check that. Yes, 3 against Houston, 4 against the Sonics in this 4th period. Here's Johnson with Newland on him, and Newland may have bounced into him, and he did.
But we're looking at the penalty situation. The Sonics have 14 fouls. Now the Rockets have 4. Again, both teams having excellent offensive execution. You'll see Dennis Johnson down, getting to that spot right there. Newland with the little knee, they call it, both of his hands. Not much contact, but this is a tight ball game as Autry bulls his way in.
Reed with yet another rebound. That was the 3rd foul on Mike Newland just a moment ago. Chance to tie it up, Houston. Reed sets it up to Newland. Now Newland looking for some help. They're a little disoriented right now. Here's Tom Janovich. Silas on him. Tough shot by Rudy T. Reed tried to keep it in play. And now the Sonics with that 2-point lead. 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Again, that last shot was a little forced by Houston. They've been forcing a couple.
Well, they struggle a little bit. Again, they're doing a good job of bodying and keeping Tom Janovich from getting this position. They don't do it there on Dennis Johnson, and he gets it, and he brings them to their feet.
Good play by Johnson, faking Newland up on him.
Again, when you're struggling, you go inside, try and get in as deep as you can. A little pump fake gets Newland off balance. You see him come down. Johnson's going up. Little elevator.
Dennis Johnson with 21 points. So the Sonics have gotten 2 of their people back offensively. That being Shelton and Johnson, who's been struggling a little bit. And it's 108 to 103. Big 3-point play for Seattle. Houston needs a basket now.
Well, I know what I'd do if I needed one. I'd go find number 24 somewhere out there.
Here's Murphy trying to get it into him. Boy, they are really jamming up the middle. Reed, and he lost the ball. Autry hits the deck. And it's going to be Seattle's ball again. That's 16 turnovers against Houston.
Just motion past the ball. Too much dribbling. They're turning the ball over, and you see again, they're clogging up the middle. They know they're trying to get the ball inside there. He's lost control, and he just runs into Autry. Autry's been in the game, and he's drawn all the turnovers.
Silas to Autry. 3:46 left. 108 to 103. Johnson walked with it. He did just too much jockeying around with the ball that time. So that's a big turnover. That gets Houston a chance now to come back into this one.
Well, they're certainly not out of it by any means, but they're probably going to call a timeout. They want a good play, try to get themselves reorganized offensively so that they can stay in this basketball game. 3:37 left, and certainly they're within striking distance, and they'd like to have this victory on the road.
From the top man right down to the bottom man. It just passes right down the line. Everybody pushes for quality.
Willie Rawls, utility man. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
My job is to replace any absentees. I'm here, there, all over the plant. Yeah, you're not tied down to one job all the time. You're around different jobs. Metal finishing, welding, soldering. But soldering, I think I enjoy soldering more than any other job I done because there's a lot of skill in that. Yeah, the fellas keep something going all the time. It's never dull around there. They get along very good. Yeah, union's good. Yeah, the people on the line, they have a lot of interest in the cars. If I go out to buy a car, that's where I go, looking for a General Motors car. Because I'm right there in the plant and I see how they're built, see the quality that goes into them.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
You don't need a haircut, Mr. Reed. You need Brill Cream.
Brill Cream?
Sure. Your hair is short enough, but it's a mess.
It sure is.
Brill Cream, so concentrated, just a little dab keeps my hair healthy looking and in control all day. Watch. Without Brill Cream, hair's out of control. With Brill Cream, hair stays in control. Try a little dab. See? Terrific, huh?
You're right. With Brill Cream, a little dab will do you.
Is he going to come back with this shot right here?
Well, put this down on your calendar. Next Saturday and Sunday, the Jackie Gleason Inverrary Golf Classic. Jack Nicklaus, Hale Irwin, Andy North, Fuzzy Zeller will all be there. 4 o'clock Eastern Time right here on CBS. Well, I tell you, Houston has hit a dry spell, Steve Jones. They haven't scored in the last 4:38 of this game.
It was a tight ball game, and it seemed that Lenny Wilkins made a key substitution. Dennis Autry came in that period. He's caused 3 or 4 turnovers in succession. He has not scored any balls, but he has been instrumental in them staying right in it, and now they have the lead. Certainly the Houston Rockets have tried to get themselves together, and they're going to come back in this game. Houston has 4 more turnovers at the Rockets, you see right there, and that's reflected in the score.
And here in the fourth quarter, they've had some very key turnovers. Here's Newland with Fred Brown on him. Another score, Portland leading Cleveland 98-94, 3 minutes to go in their game. Here's Calvin Murphy making things happen. He got it to Malone. Fine assist by Murphy.
Well, he took all that time to get in there. Mo camped right down in deep, and he got it. They're back within 3 points, and down there in Portland, they're struggling too. So, we got a hot thing going here in the Northwest.
The Sonics, if they can win here, will move within a game of the Lakers in the Pacific Division. They were upset by Denver earlier today, and some shoving and pushing going on. It's going to be Tom Janovich who picked up the foul. Let's go back to that basket down by Moses Malone.
Well, you see Malone right here again working now. He can't get the position. He sees Murphy coming over. Wisely gets out of Murphy's way, and Murphy spots him and get it down, and that's so important. Jack Sipma comes back in the game to the applause of the 21,000 here, and they're also giving a little bit of that to Dennis Autry, who did an excellent job of backing up.
Brown at the line. That was the 4th foul on Rudy T. Brown with 8 points. Boy, got awfully quiet, didn't it, before that free throw. 109 to 105.
Normally that's the way it is when the visiting team makes the hoots. Right here they should be cheering Fred Brown on.
And Brown gets them both to go. 5-point lead now. Newland.
The thing that the Rockets want to do now is come down and get a good shot every time down, at least have an opportunity to get the ball in the air. That's one of the few shots that had to come from the perimeter, but they are really falling off trying to keep the ball away from Malone.
I don't think Tom Nisalke was happy about that last effort. He'd like to have worked it a little bit better.
Certainly would like to have used a little bit more of the clock so they could get a better shot and make Seattle play a little bit more defense.
Reaching in, Houston batting that ball around. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Reed can't get it. Shelton with a big rebound, and he's fouled. Lonnie Shelton, the big board for the Seattle SuperSonics.
Well, the boys in the checkered jackets had just gone completely crazy. They're looking for some calls from the officials someplace. They thought it pushed, but it was a long rebound, and none of the Rockets were really prepared for that. The ball came out. This man who's been tough ever since he got going on those breaks early, Lonnie Shelton, comes up with the big rebound. This hurt the Rockets. 2:26 left. Certainly they need to have a basket coming right back.
He has 7 rebounds, and you see the points he scored today. So he has right now moved in, I think, the inside picture is the MVP of this game.
Oh, you change every player. We started with Johnny Johnson, went to Malone, and now you're back on Lonnie Shelton. Maybe Fred Brown?
Here's Brown with Murphy on him. Here's Dennis Johnson. Rebound Malone. Houston trailing 111 to 105 to Tom Janovich. Tom Janovich, little hook.
Oh!
Won't go for him, and that's a big miss in this game. Now, as we have just inside 2 minutes to go, the 2-minute period here in the fourth quarter. Brown now trying to direct things. There's Lenny Wilkins. This has been a tough one for him. His team losing 4 of their last 5. This would be a good way to get on the winning side of the picture before they go on a road trip. And here's Brown fouled.
Well, the penalty has really bailed them out right now. They have gone to the free throw line the last 2 trips down the court, and they've cashed in. They've gotten points, and certainly Houston has not been able to close the gap. That little sweeping hook inside by Tom Janovich, the miss, really hurt them. Another little tease. The balls have been around the rim, but they haven't gotten them down. And this is not the guy you want to put on the free throw line.
What's Brown want to know? The penalty's in?
Oh, he knows the penalty's in. He wants a little bit more TV.
That was Murphy's 4th foul on that last play. And Fred Brown, boy, I tell you, this guy just doesn't miss free throws. Last year, he hit almost 90% of his shots. His career best 3rd in the NBA. He comes in here 4th in the NBA, hitting 89%. So that's the wrong guy to foul.
Well, he's giving him a lesson at the free throw line. He's probably making speeches out there at the same time. One of the more verbal players in the league, always got something to say.
Newland forcing the shot, but he's fouled by Silas. Houston really having a tough time getting anything to go for him. They hit a streak there of 4.5 minutes without scoring. It hasn't been easy for them.
Well, it really toughened up as they've closed this middle off, and they haven't been able to get inside. Silas right there against a bullying Mike Newland. He just horses his way in and gets to the free throw line.
You know, it's tough to drive against Seattle. They play that good defense. They just don't let you get those lanes open.
Well, you know, they had it going. The Rockets had it going when they had Malone in the game. They seemed to have lost that little synchronization when he came out and took that breather. Even though they continued to score, they went away from the inside game, and now the Rockets have come back and collapsed and really shut everything down in there.
6-point lead. Dennis Johnson against the pressure. 1.5 minutes left in this game. Johnson now set it up. They'll use the clock now. Seattle in no hurry right now.
The Rockets just need to play good, solid defense right here and get the ball back. If they can make Seattle miss, turn the ball over.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Dennis Johnson with 24 points. Shelton with 28. Johnson with 24. They've been the 1-2 punch in this game offensively. 115 to 107.
You can dry those palms off now. You can start thinking about that MVP. Now, I know you're going to have a tough time with that. I got mine decided.
Well, we'll get our producer Bill Barnes into the picture here. Moses Malone trying to drive on Sigma. He's got everybody on him, the whole team. Inside a minute to go. Reed to Tom Janovich. Boy, they're playing the good defense, aren't they?
All of a sudden, the Sonics came to life. They doubled up on the most important man on the Sonics team out there, and nobody else can seem to get it down. That seemed to have really sealed it for the Sonics today.
Well, Seattle, if they can hang on here, they're going to tighten up that lead of Los Angeles to a game. The Lakers upset today, and Seattle trying to make up some ground. Rebound Malone, 29 seconds. Malone, who had 34 points, has scored only 2 points in this fourth period for a total of 36.
Well, he only got 2 offensive attempts. He got the one from Murphy and the one he missed inside, and that's really been the end of his offensive effort. The whole rhythm seemed to change when he took him out. You know, Nasaki tried to do the right thing by giving him a breather, and the game was a close one, and they stayed in it. But Autry came in the basketball game, causing the turnovers. As Dunleavy got a little bit out of control, that really hurt them.
All right, the MVP, Mr. Jones, I'm going to vote. Are you ready? For Lonnie Shelton.
Well, you and Billy Barnes double-teamed me because I sure had my cast for Moses Malone.
Did you see the director? He put the pressure on me. He put Shelton on there. I couldn't vote for anybody else. Now, seriously, Shelton, an outstanding game. A total of 28 points.
He had 7 or 8 big, important rebounds, and I think, again, Lenny Wilkins took a lesson from Tom Nasaki by going inside and really keeping Shelton active in the basketball game, and that had really hurt the Rockets.
So with 14 seconds now, Houston's going to win this one. I say Houston? Seattle.
You stay after it. You'll get it right. I know you've been excited all afternoon.
There's Newland trying to get it. Joe Hassett checked into the game off to Brown. That's going to do it. Downtown, Fred Brown and Hassett. That basket will count. Hassett's basket is good. And so it's a 10-point win here for the Seattle SuperSonics as they pick up this win and move within a game of the Los Angeles Lakers in the Pacific Division, led by Shelton with 28, Dennis Johnson with a total of 24.
Chevrolet invites you to think of yourself in a new Monte Carlo. Think of yourself surrounded by crisp, sculptured lines. Think of yourself enjoying the very real pleasures of owning a Monte Carlo. Think of yourself surrounded with personal luxury, quiet comfort, and a surprising amount of room. And when you've thought about it, come drive one and put a little distance between yourself and the crowd.
Chasing bad guys is not so glamorous outside of the movies. You find you spend a lot of time on stakeouts eating cold pizza, and you'd rather be someplace else having a cold beer. For me, that'd be one of these. Light beer from Miller, just in case I gotta move fast. See, Light's got a third less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling, and the taste is just great. Ain't that right, Muggsy?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Owens Corning built this glass house so you can see all the places insulation can save money, new home or old. Your attic. In severe climates, you may need insulating power up to R38, a foot of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Another place to insulate. Floors over unheated garages or crawl spaces, and walls exposed to cold or heat.
Put your house in the pink. Get Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now. It's cheaper than oil.
Well, a 10-point win for the Seattle SuperSonics, and the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player Award goes to this guy, Lonnie Shelton. He had 28 points, 7 rebounds. The Chevrolet $1,000 scholarship will be awarded to Oregon State on the behalf of Lonnie Shelton. So Shelton coming out of that scoring slump. Steve Jones is over there with our MVP. Let's join him.
Thank you, Gary. You talk about a guy getting out of a scoring slump. Lonnie Shelton, what did you do differently today than you haven't done in the last couple of ball games?
I don't know. I just was trying hard, and I got a chance to play. I didn't get in early foul trouble. You know, I've been doing that lately, and I really needed this game to get out of my slump. You know, I've been struggling lately.
You talk about the foul trouble. What do you think really causes that for you? You seem to get a little bit out of control early in the basketball game, and you just go from there.
I have a tendency to help out a little too much and try to deny guys layups. You know, when they have me beat or something. And I'll be out of position and still try to block a shot, and it's just temptation. I have to hold back, and it's more important to stay in the game, you know.
Well, certainly Lenny Wilkins likes to see you stay in the basketball game, and he certainly likes to see you down in this green area that we're standing in right here. Do you like it down and deep? Of course, you can go outside.
Yeah, I do like it down deep. We hadn't been doing that a lot earlier. We've kind of gotten away from it, but we're concentrating on getting the ball down low now, and it's going to open up a lot of other things in the game.
Well, you had a good game along with Dennis Johnson. Do you think after losing a game to the Cavaliers that this is really the start of things coming back for you now as a team?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, after winning one, you can't just say that, but after we win a couple more, then I think we're on our way. We've been struggling lately for some strange reason, but I think we're going to come alive now.
Okay, I want to thank you very much, Lonnie Shelton. I know that you're sweaty, had a hot afternoon and a hot ball game. Nice game. Thank you very much. Let's go back to Gary Bender.
All right, Steve. Well, Lonnie Shelton got some help today. In particular, Dennis Johnson, who finished with a total of 24 points. Fred Brown came in, and he scored 14 points after having only 2 in the first half of play, to give you an idea how instrumental he was in their success in that second half. John Johnson, who started them out so well, scoring 17 points in the first half, finished with a total of 19 points. Williams had 8 in the game. As far as the leading scorer in the game, it was Moses Malone. He had 36 points in this game. Calvin Murphy followed with a total of 30. We'll be back with more from the Kingdome in a moment.
From the top man right down to the bottom man. It just passes right down the line. Everybody pushes for quality.
Willie Rawls, utility man. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
My job is to replace any absentees. I'm here, there, all over the plant. Yeah, you're not tied down to one job all the time. You're around the different jobs. Metal finishing, welding, soldering. But soldering, I think I enjoy soldering more than any other job I've done because there's a lot of skill in that. Yeah, the fellas keep something going all the time. It's never dull around there. Yeah, they get along very good. Yeah, union's good. Yeah, the people on the line, they have a lot of interest in the cars. If I go out to buy a car, that's where I'd go, looking for a General Motors car. Because I'm right there in the plant and I see how they're built, see the quality that goes into them.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
Olympic medalist Susie Korok for Color Track by RCA.
My hat's blue, my vest is yellow, and my pants are hot dog red. If these colors don't look right, see them on a 1979 color track. Getting the color right is what it's all about. And now, with channel lock tuning, it tracks the color more automatically than ever.
Before you see the color track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
Well, it's getting tight in the Pacific Division of the NBA because today the Los Angeles Lakers were beaten by the Denver Nuggets in the Forum in Los Angeles. And just moments ago, Seattle picked up a 10-point win over the Houston Rockets. And I'll tell you, that Pacific Division, by the time we get down to the end, it may take the last game of the year to decide.
Well, certainly it's been tough and close all season long, and both of those teams have seesawed back and forth. It's been like a roller coaster. Actually, it's been like a press conference for a dying patient. You don't know who's going to be on top until 5 o'clock. Both teams played tight basketball games today. Sonics came away with the victory, and the Lakers did not, and certainly Jerry West is unhappy about that because he always loved to win at home.
Lenny Wilkins said something that was very interesting before the game. He said, we weren't playing well, and we said we exaggerated our problems. They build into one thing and another. But, boy, they came out here playing like the team that could get back in the finals again.
Well, certainly, I have said all year long that they are a very tough team, and they seem to adapt to all of the challenges that have been thrown up to them this season. They've had lots of injuries, and they've always stayed right in contention, right in first or second place. They, again, have made another adjustment after going out on the road and finding that the road is not as easy as it was the first time out. They won 5 in a row, then they came back out and lost 4 out of 5, and they found out that it's always nice to be back at home, and then they kicked a game against the Cavaliers away. So, when you're losing, and this is the loser's mentality that you have, that we can't win.
Right.
It's your fault. It's certainly not mine.
Well, I'll tell you one guy that wasn't a loser today, and that was Moses Malone. 36 points. He was outstanding.
Well, you can't say enough good things about him. Certainly the odds-on choice to be MVP in this NBA season. He has done everything that's been asked of him inside. He dominates the game. On the boards, he dominates the game. And certainly 36 points today. He had 17 in that third period in which he brought them back in the basketball game. And when he took that break, that was the biggest difference in the game right there. You have got to look for the Houston Rockets to get him some help. And if they do, they could be the team of the future.
Steve, let's look ahead now on the basketball action. Our national game of the week will be Washington against Denver. Boy, what a contest that should be. And our West Coast game of the week will be Portland squaring off against Kansas City. The NBA on CBS. Be sure and join us next week. And then the new look CBS Sports Spectacular. Next Saturday at 5 o'clock Eastern, we'll have the Southeastern Classic from Greenville, South Carolina. And also the fight of the week from Rahway State Prison as James Scott, who's an inmate there, goes against Richie Cates on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular. We want to thank our producer, Bill Barnes, our director, John McDonough, for a job very well done, an exciting game. This is Gary Bender speaking for Steve Jones, thanking you for being with us today. The final score once again was Seattle 119, Houston 109. Be sure to be with us next weekend for the more exciting CBS sports coverage on Saturday for the Jackie Gleason Inverary Golf Classic, where you'll see top stars like Jack Nicklaus, Hale Irwin, and Andy North. And Sunday for more exciting NBA action when And the National Game of the Week features the Washington Bullets and the Denver Nuggets. And the West Coast Game of the Week features the Portland Trail Blazers and the Kansas City Kings. Goodbye from the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
After you guys had scored both your 36 first quarter points and your 66 first half points,